Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Green Flag TV. I am your host, Jacob Kohler. I'm joined by nobody today because we've got a guy running late. No worries. Happens to the best of us. Got Howie down on the desk. Thank you, Howie, for pressing all these buttons, making us look and sound great. We're coming at you hard and fast with an IMSA race for Motor City Racing. It's going to be a great night tonight at Sebring. One of the classics here, and it is going to be a great time. A little bit of a day schedule for you, how this is going to work out, right? So the way that this is going to happen, we've got qualifying here for the next 43 minutes and 27 seconds. Live timing is not working as of right now because the guy who runs the website, not Howie, different guy who runs the website's kind of slacking on, his job and stuff. So unfortunate there, but we will do our best with the HUD that we are given, and we will bring you the best possible show and experience that we possibly can. Of course, Sebring needs no introduction, one of the best tracks and most famous tracks on the planet, as you can see. Man, them cars sure are going, and I'm just going to be here talking to myself, talking to all of you for the next little while. Here's an upcoming schedule for you. Today we've got Sebring here for the Motor City Racing IMSA series, and then after that we're going to go to Detroit on the 24th. On the 31st it'll be Watkins Glen, and then on the 14th of September. So a nice little break there for all of the teams and drivers that will go to Virginia International, and then on the 21st it'll be Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and then after that it'll be on the 28th of September it'll be Road Atlanta. 5th of October it'll be Road America, and then we will conclude the season at Daytona International on the road course on the 12th. So gonna be a great time, gonna be a great season. Super excited to see both the opener and the rest of this. Unfortunately, I will not be your commentator for the entire season. I've had to fill in for somebody else here tonight, so it is all looking good. We are going to begin with GT3s only on qualifying. There will be two classes. Count it, 1, 2, right? Two classes, Pro and AM. So GT Pro and GT AM. And then we've got GT3s on our qualifying. So going to be a great time here tonight, and yeah, man, you can see they are just making their way through. I don't know who's on pole as of right now or what the situation is. Yeah, we like I said, live timing is not working, so we don't have any laps put in, but it is it's looking like it's going to be a good time. This one might be finishing up here shortly. We might get our first one on the board. And it's always interesting, man. Sebring is always so much fun because it is just so open, right? The track surface here is just so wide as you come through that final corner right here. Man, that is some good stuff. Right through Sunset Bend. You can see it because that's where the sun likes to set. Fun fact, if you didn't know that. That's why it's called that. As he makes his way back down this straightaway. Look at that. Man. You see the brake markers are always so easy. That's Milton right there in the 23. John Milton, believe it or not. He comes through the final corner. Look at that. Oh, getting a little wide right there. But he does manage to keep it off of the wall. He'll cross the start-finish line. Not gonna put anything on the board just yet. So we are 4.5 minutes. I'm not seeing anything. Let me restart the thing really quick. Hold on. Oh, it's gone. Never mind. Yeah. So we are just absolutely pushing here at Green Flag TV. All of our resources have quit on us, but we have not quit. We're still here in anticipation for this Motor City Racing. Now we've got the timing and scoring. Look at that. Man, Howie's an absolute genius bringing that up. So John Ross on provisional pole with a 2:00.5, and then Nicholas Cowra bringing up provisional second place with 2 minutes and 1 second and 7/10, and then behind him some of the other drivers that you're going to be seeing here tonight. Some of these names you're going to be familiar with. These guys pretty big across the iRacing scene, all things considered. Jackson Oglesby, Drew Leonard, right? We've got Ronald Luzzi down there, Rich Howard. A lot of really, really great names here tonight. Dante Furiosi as well. Man, that's a cool-ass last name. I don't know who that guy is, but his parents did right by him. Look at that. Andrew Brooks, Arthur Ramias. I'm going to assume that's how you pronounce that. Johnny Colton, and then obviously we already talked about Drew Leonard. But yeah, John Ross still on provisional pole, and by quite a lot, 1.2 seconds. Quite the gap here for the 99 car. We'll see if it's enough to hold up for the rest of qualifying. But as guys start to get through these flying laps, yeah. Oh, hold on. Hearing that somebody's first lap Yeah, so John Milton's first lap, he went off the track, so did not count. We're going to try and get another lap in for him. And that is exactly what he is trying to do as well. Much better through this corner. Look at this. Not nearly. Oh, well, hold on. nearly getting into the wall again. He is pushing that thing as hard as it will go. Man, listen to the sound of that engine. That is gorgeous. Golly. And he is going to come across the line 159.6. Look at that. John Milton flying around the track right now, giving every single bit of effort that he possibly can. And you can see Matthew Zalcha in his car hitting about 250. Man, he's the next one who has yet to set a lap here in the 111 machine. He's got a great-looking fire suit, great-looking car. Well, let's see if it's enough to translate to on-track results. And he is across the line and might not have been legal. Yep. No, it does not. Adam Faust just now setting a time, 2:02.4. It'll be good enough for 8th place. Caden Webb comes across the line behind, and now the times start to load in. So now we see a lot of guys finishing up their flying laps here, and it is looking pretty good, right? Everybody's within about 4 seconds of each other. That's typically about what you can expect. Tom Smith. Man, these are some American-ass names that we are getting here tonight. Wow. Look at that. Looks like we are waiting for some more times to load in. Man, Nicholas Calra as well, setting a 2:00.1. So 4/10 faster than John Ross, who was on provisional pole a moment ago, but John Milton deals it away, and it is looking like it is going to be a good night tonight. Sani Soljanovic is going to get 7th place with a 2:01.2. Very nice from him. Tom Smith still making his way around the car, or around the track, excuse me, in that 503 car. Nicholas Calra, he's got a pretty good Sector 1, Sector 2, starting work on Sector 3 right now. He'll be coming across the line here in about 30 seconds, maybe a little bit less. Meanwhile, Nicholas Calra, or excuse me, John Milton ahead of him. He's about 2/10 slower through Sector 2, so he's going to need a pretty good Sector 3 in order to get that pole position. If anybody can pull it off, it is him. He's done a pretty good job so far. But he's going to need quite a bit of speed coming off this corner. Does he have it? And it does not look like it. Nicholas Calra, next lap was a 1:37, so it'll be enough to improve by about 200ths, but it's not going to be enough to take that pole position away from the other Ferrari. Meanwhile, John Milton starting his current lap. And then we've got Arthur Ramirez, who is starting his next lap as well in that BMW. Putting up another good one, only about 200ths behind, and we've got one going off the track. And it looks like it's going back. Yeah, the BMW went off. So that was Arthur Ramirez, the only BMW to put up a time so far. And it looks like Johnny Colton, who is already starting his next lap. He's about 38 seconds in. John Milton, he's about halfway done with his. I wonder if he's going to be good enough to set another one. Here are the benchmarks again for sectors 1, 2, and 3. Johnny Colton behind the bar on all 3 of them to set that 2:00.5. So things looking good here for this qualifying so far. Everybody leaving it all out there on the track. That is what you love to see. Man, gap right now to pole position. Right now about 5/10, give or take, from Nicholas Calra to John Milton. Meanwhile, throughout the rest of the field, we've had Matthew Zalcha set himself a good time, 2:02.4. And then we've got Jake Young set one as well, 2:00.5. So everybody seems to be sitting right in this little 2 minutes, 2 minute, 1 second range. Yep, there's the AMS qualifying session is done, and now the GT Pros are making their way out on track. First up, Keegan Allen. And man, 2 last names instead of a first and last name. You love to see it. I only bring that up just because there's not a whole lot else to talk about right now without these guys getting times on track. But man, that is gorgeous. Look at that. Look at those Mustangs. Look at those BMWs. Man. But don't you just love being a part of this sport? Yeah. We're going to... We are having ourselves a blast. We're going to try and show you our AM qualifying results here shortly. Uh-oh. McConey Setup Shop. I wonder what that guy's about. Here's the results for the GT3 AM qualifying. We've got John Milton, and he's going to be taking pole position by about 4 tenths and 600ths. Nicholas Calra, the next man up. Drew Leonard going to be behind him. Sonny Soljanovic, good lord, from Canada. He's going to be about 7 tenths behind. It'll bring up 4th. Jackson Oglesby, John Ross, Arthur Omayes, Johnny Colton in that 177. Jake Young, well, about 9 tenths off pole. And then rounding out our top 10 will be Andrew Brooks in the 651 car, 1.4 seconds off the pole time. So a decent spread here for the opening qualifying runs here. And bringing up 11th, we've got Adam Faust, Danny Furiosi, and Matthew Zaucha. So pretty good results here for GTM as we get over into GT Pro. Some guys warming up the tires back there. Uh-oh. We are rolling here, and it looks like we've got some guys warming up the tires here. Man, it's like we've got guys starting their first laps now, so the warm-ups are done, and giving this guy a little bit of slipstream here. You wonder if it's always the best. It's always best to not have any traffic in front of you, or if it's best to be kind of, right behind the guy. But then it comes into the question, like, if you're faster, right? Do I overtake? Do I stay behind? Like what's the prerogative here? And it looks like they're all just going to make their way through the corners. They're all playing nice so far, but when the green flag drops, no pun intended, that may change. The 221 and the 35 giving themselves a nice little bit. And it looks like we've got Fen Acini, who's going to be joining us here tonight. Give him just 2 seconds to get the headset on. Meanwhile, still making our way around the track. 221 in that BMW. He is going to be leading. And it is going to be a good one here tonight. Still quite a bit of time left in this qualifying session. Wonder what is to come. Guys look like they're moving pretty quick, especially that guy in third place. He looks like he is moving up this field, gaining a lot of time on that 35 machine. They're going to be continuing right through here. So coming up at the end of Sector 3, we'll have our first laps on the board here shortly. We just got to give them just a little bit more time. 221 car makes its way around. You can see that Mir putting in work right now. And he is about to have a face full of that 35 car, Keegan Allen, if he's not careful. Now they're going to start their run through the final corner and nearly going into the cones. Great mid-corner maneuvering, though. And that will put him in the lead. Oh, nearly glancing the wall right there. These guys are cutting it close. I like it. This is going great so far. So Keegan Allen on provisional pole. No, Max Fletcher in that 17 car. And then as I say that, Will Lindley sets your new fastest lap, 2:00.2 in the GT Pro. So it would not have been enough for pole in the GT AM series, but now as the times come through, Matt Marino 2:00.4, Max Fletcher 2:00.6, Ty Dunnett 2:00.8, Marcus Taylor in the 101 is going to be 2:00.9, Keegan Allen in the 2:01.1, Jake P. Scherer in the 2:01.2, or excuse me, in the 63, running a 2:01.2. One of the Mustangs on the board tonight. Jack Peterson setting the 2:00.7 to put himself in provisional 4th. We're still waiting for Fenn to get his ears on here.
Ears are on.
Oh, baby. Fenn is here, and I am not just speaking into the ether anymore. It is a great day to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Serino rounding out our top 9 with a 2:01.3, and we're going to see these guys start to set new laps any second now. Fenn, how are we doing here tonight?
I think we're doing pretty all right now that we're actually in the booth and no longer fighting the rain that we're getting in the Midwest here. But a fantastic evening and a great time to just go down to the likes of Florida and Sebring to enjoy some IMSA multi-class action. I'm excited to see how these second laps sign up for these drivers. A lot of times, first laps, you always want to bank them in and get at least a baseline down, but the second one is usually we see a little bit more push, a little bit more time, especially as the tires finish getting up to temperature, as they were mostly done by the end of the out lap, but they always get a little bit more heat in the beginning of the lap that you get to kind of capitalize on in your second flyer.
Oh yeah, that third lap that you take is usually one of your best ones. When it's a timed qualifying session like this, a lot of times, I prefer hot lap qualifying. Literally just start and park. Like you get 3 laps, big dog. You get the fastest time out of those 3 laps, and that's it. Because it goes so much faster and it's so much nicer. Everybody goes home a lot earlier. It's a great way to do qualifying. I'm a big fan of that. But guys like the timing, and I can see the appeal in it for sure. It's a lot of it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of pressure too, especially when it comes down to the wire with like 30 seconds left. It's going to be your last lap. You got to put in the work. So Cash Savage putting himself on provisional pole, getting about a 10th faster than Keegan Allen in that 35 car. You wonder if it has anything to do with that slipstream.
Slipstream certainly will help over the course of this, and as well as Cash Savage, someone we've usually seen in the start band. Last season, I think we saw them in a Porsche, so it's going to see him swap where he puts that engine in that BMW this season. I think it's going to be a very fun thing to see how he gets the grips with that BMW as well. But it's clearly showing that he has the pace regardless of where that engine is placed in the GT3 category. And fantastic to see. Good host of these drivers out back from last season that we saw in Motor City, season 6. So.
Oh, yeah, it is the kickoff for season 6. I completely forgot to mention that. I just said we were starting a new season. But Eric Sad said...
This is season 7.
Eric Sad said, in the Acura, the only Acura in the field, as far as I'm aware, man, that is certainly a choice. Shout out Eric, man. He is putting in the work for the boys at Acura. Hopefully it works out for him. Got a lone Aston in the field as well, Matt Marino. And we were kind of talking about manufacturers just a second ago. Do you really think that plays a factor in iRacing? Like, do you think the stats are registered? Because people have said it for years, right? That the Ferraris get a secret advantage that nobody talks about. But I don't know, kind of like the Russian bias in games like War Thunder or World of Tanks. I don't know. Do you have a comment on that, or how do we feel about that concept as a whole?
If you really dive into it, you theoretically could find one, but 9 times out of 10, I always feel like it's the one that you end up having the most comfortability with, that you end up doing the best at. And with any kind of practice, that'll kind of net out any statistical advantage on paper is not the same as actually getting to apply on it.
No, for sure. So Max Fletcher putting us on provisional pole. 159.4, taking it from Will Lindley. So the Mustangs taking no prisoners tonight. Cash Savage and Keegan Allen will have to battle back here, but it's going to be through Ty Dunnett. 158.9, our first sub 159 that we've seen here tonight. And a very, very nice lap from him is going to put him on provisional pole. 26:18 to go in qualifying. And man, things just got interesting.
From the dead, Ty Dunnett, and then making it known that the 158s are possible, though you do have to really line it up just right, get a little bit of slipstream as well, I think, to get yourself into a fantastic lap, and then also being able to capitalize on good setup, good placement, knowing where to push that car to make sure you get the most out of the time there. And we've seen the Mustangs do pretty well so far. That back straight really allowing them to stretch the legs as well as the legs. A lot of the front engine machinery, you see a good portion of them up towards the sharper end of the field this evening, but one that I think we'll have to see whether or not the consistency will be there in the hour-long feature race here in a moment.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great time. And look at this. LMP2's already making their way off the pit lane. Not on track yet. Still got just a little bit of time here afforded for the GT3 Pros, but make no mistake, they are all going to be finishing up their laps here shortly. Might have time for one more, depending on when you cross the line, but yeah, not looking super likely. In that 85 machine, who's in that 85 car? This is going to be his, it's Ty Dunnett. We'll see if he's able to beat out that 158. We'll have to see. Yeah. And, the setups for this track, right, is always an interesting thing, at least for me to talk about, right, as somebody that's worked on cars a little bit, right? There's a lot of adjustments that you make to things like the sway bar, wheel camber, the splitter angle, stuff like that, especially when it comes to multi-class racing. I think in most racing series, your setup is important, but it's not like the most important thing. But how you set up your car at a place like this that has a lot of these long straights and tight corners, it's going to be the difference in winning or losing, whether or not you make yourself better in Sector 1 or Sector 3. And GT3 Pro qualifying, as we end on that note, is going to be finishing up. Ty Dunnett your pole winner by about 5/10. Will Lindley will be the man behind him. Keegan Allen and Cash Savage will bring up third and fourth. Max Fletcher in fifth. Jake Van Hees in the 269 will be about second off that pole time. Jack Peterson, Jason Ashton in the 212 and 204 will be bringing up seventh and eighth. And ninth and 10th will be Marcus Taylor and Dennis Daniel in that 3 car for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So that'll be our top 10 here as we got to look at some of these other times. Eric Sadsad in the lone Acura. It's going to be 1.6 seconds off the time. Acura, you don't see them a lot in these races. I wonder if that's a very special deal that he's got worked out.
It might be one. One, at least he's going to be trying to see what he can get out of that Acura. I know it's been kind of the redheaded stepchild of the GT3 category this season, so curious to see where he ends up at the result of it. But it seems to be pretty consistent. Maybe not the fastest, but seems to be pretty stable from what I've seen so far. We get into the LP2 category. I'm excited to see where these prototypes get to kind of split the difference between the faster GTP times we'll see in a moment here and the slower GT3 times. We just got wrapped up in qualifying, so warm-up laps for all of them. It's going to be, I think, equally as fun, if not faster, and more of a dynamic flow for these LMP2 drivers as they get underway.
Yeah, and the playing field's a lot more level with these LMP2s. You're really going to see the driver talent really shines in series like this one, and that is something that is always just so much fun to see. I love watching the LMP2s go at it, man. I know that a lot of times they just get overlooked because they don't have any like bright colors on their scoreboard. They don't, everybody knows that it's just the same car. But I think that there's a lot of as a NASCAR enjoyer, I think there's a lot of potential there for just finding out who the best driver is, and LMP2 is a great way to figure that out.
Yeah, certainly one of those things. It definitely comes back down even more so to the setup as well as the driver. We talked about those earlier, but it's even more so the category in the case here when you have only one machine to worry about, and you don't have to worry about any sort of specific fanciness of, say, a front engine versus a mid-engine in the GT3 category, or how the hybrid gets deployed in those GTPs. You just have a raw, fantastic prototype machine that's underneath you that you get to then dial into your specific likings, and that's all you have to worry about. Kind of much like we see with the Cup cars in the Porsche 992 Cup car machine. A couple other of those single makes or ones that have kind of homologation down to single makes, such as the Cup cars in the NASCAR side, like you were talking about. So very fun to see. We'll see where they end up at the end of these first flyers. Good run through there, nice and tidy. Obviously, want to get in the banker lap in for most of this field his time by.
Yeah, looks like they're going to be putting some times on the board here shortly. Starting out Sector 3 with a bang, a lap will be coming over to an end very shortly. JT Langlays is going to be our first man across the start-finish line, I believe. I don't think there's anybody in front of him. So as he makes his way around these final corners here, we're going to see what the benchmark is going to be. Looking like it is going to be good so far. Yeah, just to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, we're kind of working with our hands behind our back as Richard Danielewski, is going to be our first man across the start-finish line with a 152.4. Casey Catola is quick to take it from him. And he's going to be bringing up a 152.3 with the 88 machine. So already off to a good start is LMP2. And coming across the line again is Christopher Violante in the 150 with a 154.6. So these times a little bit more spread out here to start things off.
Yeah, definitely. You get a few of the drivers that have various types of, different ways that they can bring up the tires into that window. So these first laps sometimes are a little bit more conservative. Various drivers trying to at least get themselves more set up for a second run rather than the first one here, and going to be make sure they don't end up on that barrier at the end of Sunset Bend. So it'll be interesting to see where they get to at the end of the next lap. As I get the feeling, I imagine we're going to see those lap times really start to kind of crunch down and get a little bit more competitive with each other, as well as they continue to kind of increase their pace differential from the GT3s.
Oh yeah, it is going to be a good one. So Casey Catola still on provisional pole by about a 10th here. Ahead of Richard Danielewski, who has a faster Sector 2, but he was just about a few hundredths slower through Sector 1. He's going to need a good Sector 3 if he wants to take that pole position. Looking good so far, but guess who's right behind him? It's Casey Catola who is setting some pretty good benchmarks as well here. So we'll see who's going to... It looks like it's going to be a two-way battle for that pole position as they come through the final corner. Getting close to the wall, but not glancing it and nearly getting into it is Casey Katola back there. So Daniel Luski is going to set himself a new time. 151. Look at that. And Katola right behind him. Oh, my goodness. 4/100ths of a second. He hangs on to pole. Stu Higgins behind sets a 152.6 to take third position.
And Joao Pedro Tome gonna split the difference between Stu and Richard Danielewski, getting a 152.479. And JT Langley gonna join him there with a 152.350. So like I said, these drivers starting to get those fast times in, getting those secondary laps, and getting to improve that time. So we're gonna see them, I think, all kind of condense down as we see a few more drivers working their way. Kerry Sturdoff, gonna work his way back down the Sunset Bend and to the end of the lap.
Look at that, Sturdoff. That's a name you hear quite a bit across the iRacing scene. He's quite the popular guy, and he is going to be setting his time right here. 152.909 was the previous, and he will bump himself up to third position in that 25 car. 152.051, and he is looking to make a run at pole here with this next one.
Certainly looks like it. Jose Rafael Zayas is going to get a time in. Looks like he's going to be trying to improve pretty considerably this time by his first sector. Then you go off of that 157 in the first lap. We'll see if the second timed one, I should say, is going to be much better here as it gets through tower.
Oh, baby, look at the blimp up there. Man, wouldn't you like to take a ride? Wouldn't you like to take a ride in one of those? Gosh. One day. Not today, though. Not today. We are still firmly planted on the ground here at Green Flag TV. Speaking of being planted on the ground, Jose Rafael Zayas is going to be finishing up this lap here shortly, making his way down the final straight towards the final corner, and he is looking very good here.
Looking solid so far. A few more times I think we'll be following him as they get through the last of their laps here. Just about 2 more minutes on the clock for these LMP2 drivers, if I'm not mistaken, before we get into GTP qualifying. So get one last run in if they haven't already crossed the timing tower to get a second or third lap in. He will jump up to with 155.321. Going to join him, get himself off the bottom of the board by a few tenths, as Stuart Jones is also looking to see if he can't close down that gap.
Man, that 30 car making its way through at the speed of sound. Not quite the speed of sound, but, you know, getting close. And 151.6, faster than any of us will ever go in our lifetimes, that's for sure. I know the fastest I've ever done on the Autobahn was like 150, I want to say. No, that's miles an hour. What's that in kilometers? It's like 230, right? Something like that.
There we go. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's about 230 kilometers an hour. Around that number, probably. I don't know. Polizei will tell you. They'll for sure tell you how fast you were going. Corey Sturdoff still hanging on to this third position here as we wait for some more times to get ran through. It looks like Casey Katola has just come off the track. I don't see him anywhere. He was right behind Richard Danielewski just a moment ago. And getting into the grass a bit is Danielewski. You wonder if that sentences this lap to an early grave.
It doesn't look like it, because it looks like he's still holding on to it for the time being. See if he can try to grab that 0.04 of a second difference. I think Casey Katola did have an off track in this final corner. So we'll see here as he comes across the line if he's going to get himself a better time.
And as it goes through, does not look like it. So Casey Katola hangs on to pole for the time being, at least. And we're waiting. Scoreboard's not going to update. Last one was a 152.2. So getting into the grass there through that final sector definitely did not do him any favors. We're going to wait on these qualifying results here to end. I'm not sure. Is it going to end at 15 or is it going to end at 10? We'll find out. I don't see the other cars getting ready, so I think it is going to end at 10.
Yeah, I believe the GTPs will get released at 15, and then we think we just have Corey Sturdoff to get back down to the start-finish stretch, and then we'll get to the results here as the GTPs are working their way out on track and getting their warm-up laps complete.
Z comes off the final corner. Is he going to be enough for pole? If there's a man who can do it, it is him. And it's looking like that's going to be a no. So, qualifying board all but set. Casey Catola, your pole winner in that 88 car. Richard Danielewski in the 30 behind him. Bringing up third is Corey Serdoff with about 3/10 back, almost 4. And then JT Langley in fourth. How Pedro Tome in fifth. In that 39 car, hailing all the way from Brazil. So glad he could join us here tonight. So bringing up 6, we got the 520 of Stu Higgins. 7th is Chris Santiago. 8 is Christopher Violante. And then we've got in 9th and 10th, we've got the 8 of Jordan Miller and the 42 of Stuart Jones, respectively. And then just one other car in the LMP2 series, and it'll be Jose Rafael Zayas-Dros from Puerto Rico, about 3.6 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can find a little bit more time here in the race here. But for now, the GTP is getting done with their out laps. They'll be getting their first flyers underway here in just a moment. Just a little bit more time for these GTPs. Takes a little bit longer to get them up to speed from what I've understood so far, and being able to drive them as well as get to commentate some of these races as well as other IMSA adjacent ones. So the qualifying time for them, just given a little bit more to give them more room to get a couple of good flyers in along with the rest of the grid.
Yeah, a lot of people I've also seen don't really like to drive these, especially in some of the smaller leagues that I've done work for. A lot of times it'll be just 1 or 2 guys in that GTP series, and it's like, man, not a lot of people are wanting to drive these things. So I'm not really sure what the community takes issue with, if these cars, or if they take issue with them at all. Obviously, these cars all cost money, so some folks just don't want to, definitely don't want to. And I'm hearing tire model complaints from the desk, so that might have something to do with it as well.
It is
John,
one.
Interesting.
I'd say much like I think we were hearing from our producer, the tire model, definitely one of the more challenging pieces. The ability to drive them as a result of that tire model usually ends up being a little bit of a mixed bag depending on which one you're driving and where you're driving it out. So it's definitely one. I love them personally, but I know a lot of people that do not like the way that they drive versus other sims that have GTP modeling versus iRacing. But big component here at Motor City Racing is going to be the GTP category. One of their, I think, prides and joys of this series is the number of drivers here and how they like to duke it out. A lot of returning faces here as well from the Season 6 into Season 7. Alex Lalonde going to make the return into the GTP category from LMP2, which I believe is where he was, as well as Christopher Demkohler.
Look at that. Man, I wonder where we've heard that name before. Interesting. He's going to be making his way through that final corner here shortly. He looks like he will be the first time on board, and man, that thing is flying. Look at that. Wheeling that thing around there. Put your forearms into it, son. He's got it around the final corner, and he's going to be coming across the line. And we'll see his time here shortly. 148.6 as the rest will come across the start-finish line shortly. Braden Carlson, the next car to set 1. It'll be 149 for him, 149 as well for Chad Henson, separated by about a tenth, those two. Scott Mouse, 151.3, and Joshua Lane in the 148.680. Only 1.5 hundredths away from Christopher Demkohler. So hanging on a pole by a thread here is that 69 car, Jeremy Roost. He is going to be taking a 148.7 to take third place. And as other cars come across the line, Tony Calderaro, he is going to be sitting on 149.4. Matthew Elmore, 149.6. So once again, really great spread with these cars. Should be a pretty good race here tonight.
Certainly will be. Nate Benarowitz going to get a 149.000 to make it right on the number. The split of these cars as well, in terms of the types of GTPs we see out on track, going to be pretty largely split between Cadillacs and Porsches. I think the two most reliable drives of this series from what I've experienced. But obviously I'm here commentating in the booth and not driving, so I think it's, again, much like we talk about in the terms of the GT3 category. Whichever one you're most comfortable with, I think will always get you the best results. Prajapati is going to be getting his first flyer in. I think his first attempt got invalidated last time by, so he'll give it another shot here. One of our few GTPs yet to set down a lap time in the closing stages of qualifying, alongside Alan Gellison.
Yeah, these guys make no mistake though. I mean, these are some of the best drivers on the grid for sure, especially if they're willing to step into a car like this one. It tends to be a little bit unwieldy at times, and rip that one for an hour around one of the more difficult tracks on the schedule. Sebring, known for its degree of difficulty, one of the hardest places to turn laps at, especially for an extended period of time. I remember the VSCA 12 hours of Sebring that we did a few months back was absolutely grueling for those guys, and I expect this event to be no different. Everybody kind of strapping in for long haul here. Scott Mouse taking pole position in that BMW, 147.2. That's 6 seconds ahead of the time that Christopher Damkohler just set. Scott Mouse off to a hot start here with 8:40 to go in qualifying.
Yeah, he's got a great run there in that BMW M Hybrid V8. Going to be one of two, I think, M hybrids that we have out there for the BMW. And it's going to be, I think, it's going to be interesting to see if Nate Bernarowitz, Christopher Damkohler can get a better time to bring the fight back to him. Love to see as well where Alex Lalonde jumps into this mix with that Ferrari. I think our lone Ferrari this season.
And he appears to be the only one on the board. Now, obviously, some guys might not make it, right? Next week, we might see some new faces and some new cars. But yeah, as of right now, we've got one Ferrari in the GTP series. And then in GT Pro, there was one Acura. So a lot of lone wolves here out on the track to start the season's festivities here at Sebring. And you wonder, obviously, there's a lot less, manufacturer factor in, no pun intended, in events like this that are a little bit Moose. I'm being told it's Scott Moose. I apologize. Scott Moose on provisional pole. But as I was saying, Christopher Damkohler into the dirt. My goodness, I can't even get a sentence finished around here. So there's obviously a lot less manufacturer pull in events like this. But do you think that it does play a factor? Like, do you think if a guy's given a choice between helping someone of the same manufacturer or not, and neither of them are teammates, or they're both teammates, right? What do you think the choice is going to be there? Do you think that plays a factor at all?
I think it plays a huge factor. We see it a lot in some of the more teammates and groups of cars that are coming out to, especially here in Motor City Racing. There's a few different teams that make their pilgrimage out here weekly, and a lot of times you'll see those in similar machines or the same machine, so that way they can share, compare notes, swap setups, as well as cover, where somebody's got, a little bit of trouble trying to figure out how to really nail a corner, which there are a huge host of those here at Sebring that have super interesting and technical requirements given how bumpy the course is. You want to make sure you don't lock up the brakes, especially with the GTPs and LMP2s. So I think that will often play a factor. But when you get the opportunity to kind of end up being a little bit of a lone wolf, or you're, maybe not a teammate with those individuals, you might still share some notes, depending.
And speaking of lone wolves, Alex Lalonde, 147.1. He is going to take pole with 6 minutes left to go in qualifying, and he's got about a 10th on Scott Moose. Man, that is a beautiful lap from him. It's the fastest one we've seen here so far. They are absolutely flying around this course here tonight. Meanwhile, other drivers who have set times now, John Sanfilippo and Prahapati is going to be guys that are setting their first times here in the 55 and the 9 machine, respectively. But yeah, it's like you said, a lot of these teams, right? They're making their seasons start right here along with the rest of us, and especially when there's a good bit on the line in a league like Motor City Racing, you start to wonder if team orders are going to be a factor.
It may be. I've seen it on occasion with some of these drivers as they are working their way through. A couple of drivers try to swap positions to get a little bit of a better run here in the closing stages. I think it'll be interesting to see, especially in the GT3 category, or a couple of
No, for sure. And we're going to continue. We got about just under 5 minutes left to go here in qualifying, trying to just shore up these lap times however they can. See the teammates starting to get close to one another, maybe give each other a little bit of slipstream here. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, kind of situation, as they say. But no one can stop the advance of Father Time, right? That clock is going to continue to tick down. So if you're going to make a decision, now's the time. Looks like everything is going to plan. Nobody's crashed yet either, which is definitely a up. And as I say that, we've got one around.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. That is ungodly timing. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, my goodness. And it's Carlson in that Cadillac. We're going to get you a replay on what happened. I believe he just lost it. Braden Carlson in that 21 machine. Just lost it literally the second it came out of my mouth. That is insane. What poor timing. I'm so sorry, Braden. That was so unfortunate. My God. That will take us into our 4th minute remaining here in qualifying. And, things are shaking up here. So with Carlson now off the track and with that 147.8, it's going to be enough to crack the top 10 here. But I don't know if he's going to try and continue that lap. He'll have time to maybe get back going again. But once you lose that speed, it's definitely hard to justify staying back out there on track. He'll have a chance at one more flyer, I think, before it's all said and done. And Nate Benarowicz, he is going to set a 147.2. And Alex Lalonde, earlier, we completely missed it. Our first sub 147 of the night, 146.944. Great driving from that 72 car. He looks poised to win this bad boy.
Yeah, Alex Lalonde, pretty consistent across most of these. Nate Benarowicz, also incredibly consistent. Always a battle we love to see between those two drivers, as well as Scott Moose in the BMW there. I think it's going to be a pretty close one, given that there's only 100th and some change between Scott Moose as well as Nate Benarowicz. And so the ability there, it's going to be such a close battle for these drivers at the beginning of the field, and have some cool heads to make sure they don't end up into some incidents early on. Easy to get into, as well as a lot of the season still left to play for as they get through the last couple of flyers. Might get one more if they get around fast enough.
Baby. Yeah, no, race 1 of the season is never a good time to make enemies. If you want to make enemies, you do it like towards the second half of the season, probably. That's the optimal time to start making enemies and start bumping people out of the way for positions. You definitely don't want to do that first race of the season. Of course, some guys are just like that, Some guys just live for the thrill of just knocking somebody else out of the way. It is definitely going to be a good one. And we are... We're making it happen. We're making it happen. It is gonna be a good one. And nearly getting into the wall. Nearly getting into the wall is Nate Benarowicz there.
Managed to keep it out of there. He doesn't think he improves at all. You see him gonna pull off over here to the side.
Uh-oh. Not going to attempt that other one. Of course, when the timer runs out, I don't think it's going to work like a lot of other racing series do, where when the time runs out, you're allowed to finish that lap. So I think he is just going to pull off. Oh, you are? Okay, so he just gives up right there. Shout out to him. If you don't feel like you can do it, then why waste the time? So just under a minute left to go as we see some guys cross the start-finish once again here. Making his way through the end of the sector is, Scott Moose. Sorry, it's really hard to see right about now, and we are doing our best. Yeah, Alex Lalonde still on provisional pole with that 146.944.
A pretty good run there as well. Let's see if he can wrap up this lap. See if Scott Moose can break into the 146s as well.
Oh,
he's gonna dive in pit lane, get that entry.
Yeah. So
the answer is no, but Christopher Damkohler is going to get just shy of it and will bump himself up into second there, I believe, at 147.135.
Roger that. So we are just about to finish this one up. I believe we've got a couple of cars that have still yet to come in, and then we will go to the results. We're not going to name every individual driver just because there's like 60 cars on track today. It'd be entirely too much. Yeah, we will be doing the full grid here in just a moment, but we'll be going over GTP qualifying results. And, oh yeah, it is going to be a good one. So, Alex Lalonde secures himself pole barring any last-minute miracles from anybody else in the field. Christopher Damkohler going to be coming through the end of Sector 3, but it will not matter. So Alex Lalonde secures pole with a 146.944. Fastest car on track here tonight, and he looks poised to continue it. Christopher Damkohler brings up second. Nate Benarowicz in third. Joshua Lane in fourth. Scott Moose in fifth. Jeremy Roost in sixth. Tony Calderaro in seventh. Matthew Elmore in eighth. Braden Carlson, despite the spin earlier, is going to secure ninth place in that 21 car, and Alan Gullison is going to be in the 694, bringing up our top 10. So some great drivers, some great cars here tonight, Fen. It is gonna be a good one. We'll have an hour race right here in the Motor City Racing League, and yeah, it looks poised to be an absolute banger.
There's always some pretty good close racing here in Motor City Racing. If last season is any indicator for how this one will start out, it'll be a pretty busy and hectic fight, but I think it'll be one that's usually pretty clean and ideally without issue, as we see Braden Carlson working his way back around to start finish straight to see if he can improve his time at all before we get into the grid and get underway here for this hour-long feature race. Going to be a pretty fun one. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be some fun bits of fuel strategy as well amongst the mix for these drivers.
It's always interesting to see the fuel call, right? Because the hour time is always just enough that you need to make some kind of fuel and strategy call. So it's interesting to see how the teams handle that, whether they just make that pit stop halfway, or if they wait till 3/4, or if they just get a quarter of the way. It also depends on how many cautions there are. We'll just have to see how it all shakes out. But we'll be coming at you with the grid momentarily, and then we'll be ready to get this bad boy underway. It is gonna be a good one.
Certainly will be. We're looking forward to see how these drivers, what they've learned in the off season as well from between season 6 and this one. So I think it's gonna be a pretty good one for this. 82% for the LMP2s in terms of the fuel category while I'm thinking about it. And then the likes of 70% for the GTP, the prototypes there at the front end, sharp end of the stick, and then the GT3s get 60% fuel. So ideally, anywhere from about 30 to 45 minute fuel tanks, and then they will have to come in for that fuel stop. It'll be fun to see as well as they get underway with the grid.
Yeah, and as you can see, remember Alex Lalonde taking pole there. We are just going to kind of go through this. Christopher Damkohler bringing up second as well. You can kind of see that there's definitely a pattern, right, as we go through here. Casey Catola getting pole for LMP2. A lot of these guys, they came here to play, but the spreads is what I'm most concerned about. Ty Dunnett taking pole for a GT3 Pro, and GT3 AM bringing out some of the pros, John Milton. So, with that being said, those are 4 pole winners for each class, but the spreads, they've been close, and they have been good. So we are going to see maybe even some inter-class battling here at Sebring tonight. It is, man, I'm excited. You can feel it, can't you? The energy is starting to rise here in Florida, and the weather's going to be good as well, looking mostly clear. So not really going to play as much of a factor. Sun's going to be kind of setting in the sky, but I don't think the track temp is going to be too big of an issue for any of these teams here tonight.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any issue for weather. For track temp, it's going to be pretty moderate as far as it goes. 76 degrees, I believe, on the track, 73 in the air. So nice and temperate for making for some quick lap times that we saw in practice and in qualifying as well. So 61 cars on the grid. It's going to be a pretty busy track. We will do our best probably to keep up with everything that we can, but it's going to be fun to see where these drivers all get underway here. The GTP is starting to get caught up to that pace car, and then we'll probably see some gaps between, especially the LMP2s and the GT3s, both the Pro and AM split. Like you talk about interclass battling, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of it in the GT3 category, if not maybe a little bit between some LMP2s and GTPs as they have to work their way with each other, especially as the fuel margins will mean that the pit stop times will be roughly around the same time. At least the window that opens up will definitely be overlap between all these classes as well. So it'll be fun to see how that all plays out, how the pit strategy affects those drivers and when they choose to make that call in the hour-long race here. I don't think we'll see many tire changes for reference here because it is only an hour driving. Most of these cars can go an hour on a set of tires without too much trouble.
No, I think it would. I think it would take someone crashing and losing a wheel for a tire to get changed here tonight, which is definitely possible. But I tell you what, speaking of interclass battling between those GT Pros and GT AMs, those are always the most fun to watch for me. You know, the hypercars are cool. The LMP2s are awesome. But let me tell you, those GTs are so much fun because those cars are just a little bit more durable. You get to see a little bit more beating and banging, and when somebody gets upset in one of those GT cars, they can for sure take it out on somebody, and it is an absolute brawl in those classes a lot of the time, and that is just, man, that's so much fun to watch. But probably will not see any of that here tonight. All these guys pretty reputable, pretty fairly good drivers that we're bringing into the Motor City Racing League. And but you never know, and we might see some very interesting racing as well. You know, there's an old saying when it comes to a lot of those GT only racing series. You know, you went to go watch a demolition derby and a race breaks out, and that's kind of the same concept. It's kind of what's the old hockey joke? I think you go to a fight and a hockey game breaks out or something like that.
Yes, yeah, that is the classic hockey joke.
I think it's the same. I think it's the same concept, but. Man, we're getting our formation lap underway here, and Ty Dunnett leading those GT Pros into their sector. And man, those Mustangs, they look mean, and they looked all but poised to run away with this one. We'll see if anybody else has anything to say about it.
Absolutely. See if the consistency is there. We have the 1 lap pace between the 3 GT3 Mustangs, the Dark Horse R's, if I remember correctly how those are fancily titled. But it's going to be interesting to see. The BMW is not far behind them as well, and most of the rest of that class equally ready to be consistent, as well as have the single lap place. Max Fletcher obviously runs that crew or that car very well over the course of a stint, so I'd be curious to see if he has the same consistency here in Season 7 that he did last season, as well as good host of these drivers back for another season. And it'll be interesting to see where they end up adding to the already reputable, I would say, collection of championship wins, podiums, and good finishes here with season number 7 in a few weeks' time, and many Sundays of driving ahead.
Oh yeah, it is gonna be a good one as they finish up Sector 3. We are moments away from the beginning of the race. The Motor City Racing League is back in full force. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together because we are about to get underway. They're making their way to the final corner. Pace car lights are out. Oh, I can barely contain myself. I'm standing right now. This is absolutely exhilarating. You see the HUD come up. There's your pole sitters. There's your grids as they stand. The pace car is in, and we are now on the leader. And with that, Motor City Racing League Season 7 is underway here at Sebring. Alex Lalonde is throwing it down into turn 1, and you can already see guys are side by side right there. Nate Benarowicz trying to take that 3rd position, and he does so successfully. So now as it all shakes out here in the GTPs, already starting to space out. Alex Lalonde starting to get away about 0.5 ahead of Christopher Damkohler. Meanwhile, LMP2 just now getting across the line at 0.3 of a second. We've already got trouble back there. Trouble ahead, trouble back there. 520 is around. Not sure who that is, but we're going to try and get you some replays when we can. We've got another car in the grass, missing the rear wing as well. Hard accidents here to start. Still green. No caution yet. Got guys coming off of the pit lane, and now
it is definitely going to be a pretty gnarly one. Most of this grid getting their way through. Few drivers, I think, Jake Fett, having a moment as well in the GT3 Pro category, but the rest of that field, oh my goodness, gonna have to give a little bit of leeway and room for each other. Willingly gonna be picking up 3rd here for the moment, and Max Fletcher had a moment early on in that, kept the car going the right direction, though, finding himself, I think, in 4th, just behind those drivers.
Oh yeah, and they are absolutely moving right about now. Ty Dunnett still hangs on to the lead, and John Milton still hangs on to the lead in GT3 AM. But for how much longer is the question? Off to a 1.2 second lead is Ty Dunnett already. And you can see they're side by side to the final corner. Scott Moose trying to hang on the outside. He might get shoved into the wall right here if he's not careful. But instead, he is going to elect to stay. where he is at. So Scott Moose trying to take that position, but wasn't able to quite hang on, and he will be relegated back to 6th as a result. And so, oh man, getting into the grass is the man ahead of him. It's Braden Carlson in that 21 machine. Absolutely moving out here. He started 9th, keep that in mind, but after the accidents, we are looking at him in 5th and Moose in 6th, and they are battling hard for this spot.
They certainly are. They're both looking to try to capitalize on the spots they are. Ty Dunnett going to hold on to that lead position in the GT3 Pro category. The GTP back half is why you see Braden Carlson up into 5th. Is a huge multi-car kind of incident happened right after turn number 2. And I think we'll get a replay here eventually for it. But it's an interesting one. That is how we end up with such a disparity in the order there, as well as such a gap between the P4 and P5 as it currently stands already.
Yeah, and John Milton looks like he is already chasing down one of the GT Pros. Looks to be swallowing up that class ahead of him. Nothing but talent on this man. Already out to a 2-second lead, and Drew Leonard does not look like he is getting any closer. It looks like he's just trying to hold off the guys behind him, and now they start to single file out. And we are still rolling here at Sebring. First 4 minutes going to be off the clock here in about 40 seconds. And as we continue to move right here, Alex Lalonde still leading that GTP category by about 0.6, now up to 1 second. And here comes Scott Moose. He wants to try for Braden Carlson again, trying to take that 5th spot, but can't quite get it done. Looked like he had a little bit of momentum going into that final corner, but it is just so hard to yank it around there sometimes.
Certainly is. Sunset Bend is such a wide corner, such a one that you can kind of take whatever line you want, and it still is pretty effective as long as you end up spitting out the far side of the giant open hairpin that it ends up being at the end of the lap here. But with the likes of a couple other drivers, I think, sitting just behind them, and in the battle for 7th in class, Chad Henderson, I believe, excuse me, he's going to be holding off that position for the time being.
Yep, and we are... Oh, man, we are witnessing a nice battle here in LMP2. Looks like we've got quite a bit. We're going to get a replay on the opening incident right here. So Tony Calderaro, I believe, is the first man who goes spinning. All good so far, but instead he just loses it. And oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, no, he takes out the 694 as well. And as a result, multiple cars with damage here. And man, we're going to try and get you an above view of it as well. Going to our drone cam. And
the CSM
looks like
prototype
gets
right
on
behind.
the curb. Overcorrects.
Oh.
And that will be that.
Yeah, right on board. Alan Gulson also catching up in this one as he gets both, catches Tony Calderaro and then gets rear-ended from behind by another Cadillac as well. A huge host of drivers. Jeremy Roost in that CSM Sim Sports machine.
Oh, man. That is really rough. We were kind of talking about it earlier, right? The durability of these GTPs and LMP2s compared to the GT cars. And you see it right there. All 3 cars, not a super fast incident, not a super hard hit for anybody in that accident. But despite that, all 3 of them exposed engines and missing rear wings. So as we go back to live racing action, or excuse me, no, this is another replay. We've got John Sanfilippo here. Okay, no, we are live. This is live. So John Sanfilippo trying to hang in there. And he is right on the cusp of taking that spot. Oh, man. Chad Henson, he has got to put his foot in it if he wants to keep this one.
Yeah, not far behind either of them as well. I believe
we've got Sean Sanfilippo still trying to chase down Chad Henson. But as a result, Matthew Elmore has made up quite a bit of time as well. And we've got one into the wall back there, I think. Oh, man, it's so hard to tell from this angle. Keegan Allen crossing the line in 5th, trying to chase down Will Lindley and the car behind him. Looks like, man, things are heating up here at Sebring. But now that the opening race jitters are kind of out of the way, things should be able to calm down just a bit. Like I said, Alex Lalonde still out to a pretty comfortable lead. Same thing for Casey Catola. Not as comfortable at 6/10, but still, riding pretty, as they say. But Ty Dunnett out to about a 3-second lead, and John Milton, Drew Leonard still able to keep it right at about 2 seconds. But 2 seconds is not as good as 0 seconds, as they say. So Drew Leonard going to be trying to chase him down, but Alex Lalonde not taking any prisoners here tonight in the GTP series.
Well, it's certainly not, but Christopher Dankola are going to be keeping him honest. We see this relative still sits at about just under a second after all of the craziness we've seen on the first upline couple of laps. We're going to have them hit the back markers of GT3 and then GT3 proper shortly after, which will only make this mix-up a little bit more interesting as they keep on going, because the battles here, I think, while they ebb and flow, I think there's still plenty of pockets of battling in the prototype category, both between the GTPs, such as Alex Lalonde and Christopher Damkohler, who are both battling a race of consistency here. And a huge moment there for Lalonde, going to give him a couple seconds back to Christopher Damkohler, who has just came up as well.
No, the lights flash. Yep, the lights flash. Lalonde gets by relatively no trouble. And, looks like Christopher Damkohler is going to be held up a little bit going into these corners. He's going to try and make his way around the outside. Now he will, but it cost him about a tenth for his trouble, and that kind of brings us into one of the talking points of multi-class racing. Nearly rear-ending that car was, I believe that was Chad Henson. And, it just brings us into one of the talking points that always comes with multi-class racing, right? Lap traffic. Nobody likes to experience it, but it is just one of the natures of the beast, as they say, when it comes to multi-class racing. Love it or hate it, it's a part of the game, and these guys dealing with it very early here tonight, within the first 9 minutes of the race, dealing with lap traffic. So it could definitely prove a factor. We've seen lap traffic kind of screw up races before, not necessarily here, but just in racing in general. And Alex Lalonde trying to get around, and now he will get around that GT3. So all looking good so far, but there's still a lot of hockey left in this one. We've got to keep ourselves honest right here and keep ourselves alert, because anything can happen at any time. It is multi-class racing, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what you're gonna get, especially when there's 4 races going on at once.
Very true. It's going to be an interesting one as well, especially because the battle for multiple parts of the field, the battle in the lead for the LMP2 category as well, and then this battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th, as Matthew Elmore got a good run to get around John Sanfilippo, excuse me. He's going to make for, I think, a bit of a battle here. Now Chen Henson has to keep a different Cadillac behind him, one that is star-spangled instead of one that is nice and red.
Yeah, he's got to try and keep that guy behind him, but man, it is going to be tough. He is hard charging right about now, and things are looking good right here. Daniel Lewski, 2/10 off now. He's going to try and hang on. Oh, very nice pass around the outside for Alex Lalonde. And other guys getting held up as the GTs become more frequent. Looked like we had guys making contact back there. But it all shakes out without any real incident. The lead now out to 9/10 over Christopher Damkohler. Daniel Lewski also getting slowed down as well. Up to 3/10 is Casey Catola's lead, but it has been cut in half since the start of the race. So we'll see if Richard Daniel Lewski wants to make a move right here.
He's going to have to play it very safely and conservatively. We see the likes similarly in the lead battle for the LMP2 category. Casey Catola still only 3/10 ahead of Richard Daniel Lewski, who has had such a great run. And it'll be absolutely interesting to see, because Curry Sturoff is not far behind either, as this battle for the bottom step of the podium is going to kick off, as Josh Lane going to have to deal with the likes of Nate Benarowitz.
Yep, Nate Benarowitz, and he is making up some good time. That last corner, not super great for Joshua Lane. We're going to come at you with a quick replay right here. And
I think it was how Nate ended up behind him, because he was in third just before this.
Yes, he was. So we'll see right here. Still making it through. All right. Oh,
there we go.
We're back to the start-finish, and we are here. So, he gets held up by the GT.
Traffic.
Oh, man. That's got to be frustrating for him. So now he's going to try and chase down Joshua Lane. Joshua Lane getting a position for free there. You know, he's not complaining about that. But, yeah, it's just so tough for the GT in that situation, like, with how fast he gets approached right there. Like, you know you're supposed to not be on the racing line, but it's just such poor timing. Like, right as he enters the corner on the racing line, he thinks he's got enough time, but unfortunately, just didn't work out to him. However, it does bring up the point. It is up to the overtaking car to pass safely, and Joshua Lane gets taken out.
Well, Nate Brown has also got to choke up to not get involved in that wreck because there are a bunch of other cars in it as well.
Oh, man.
Just a little bit later in the same lap.
Oh, that is brutal. Man. I'm not even sure what happened there. It all looked like it happened too fast. I wasn't sure if Joshua Lane came down or if the GT went up. We'll see. Got another replay. Christopher Violante losing it. Oh, big hit right there. Tries to lock it down, but he's going to lose his rear wing and his rear cover as well. So that engine fully exposed right about now, and he is just going to like to fast tow that. I'm not sure how many fast repairs you get. Some contact between Gavin McKenzie and another one of the GTPs. He is going to go off the track as a result, and he is going to lose it. Man, that 12 machine off to a rough start. Yeah, a bit of a rough one there, but thankfully one that he can kind of nurse back to the start-finish line without too much issue. Eric Sidestad, who is going to be in that lone Acura. This is with Gavin McKenzie as well. Let's see what happens. It's going to get
Ferrari. Oh, that's going to be some contact there. He's going to slide, keeps it out of the barrier.
Oh, he's got it. Man, you know he's not happy about that, though. You know he's not happy about that. Oh, that he is fuming right now. I guarantee it. Eric
so much room on the inside there.
Furious right now. But, man, what I wouldn't give to be a fly on the wall in that VC right about now. But with that being said, we are still looking through some other stuff that happened. And now we're back to live. So, after it's all said and done, the lead's not really affected. Drew Leonard has brought the gap down to about 5/10, a little bit under it, and Richard Danielewski now up to 6/10, the gap to Casey Catola. John Milton still hanging on to that GT AM lead. Ty Dunnett still very comfortably in the lead for GT Pro, and Alex Lalonde about 1.4 seconds out in front of Christopher Kohler here. So, looks like we are making our way through here. So far, first 15 minutes out of the way, lots of contact, lots of trouble, lots of good racing. We'll see if that pattern holds up for the other 45.
The battles here still looking to keep themselves as well sorted as they can be. A bit of a moment there for Ty Dunnett as well as they get into multi-class traffic. It's him and Stu Higgins, I think, having a bit of a moment. I see this battle as well further back in the GT3 Pro field.
This next is going to be Sani Soljanovic. Good Lord. I am terrible at reading. Never was very good at it. That's why I joined the military, because I didn't have any other options. Scored a 36 on that ASVAB. Barely qualified. Barely qualified. I was right across the line, let me tell you. But I did it in style. Right as time expired. And speaking of time expiring, Sani Soljanovic gets taken out. And as a result, they're going to collect one of the GTPs as well. Oh, man.
That is brutal.
Oh, man.
GTP, who's going to then tow to pit lane. This is that same incident. Quick look back. Very wide line for drivers there.
Oh man, that's rough. Sani Soljanovic.
And just a couple more.
Oh man, that is brutal. And it looks like he just kind of doesn't really give him a whole lot of room there. I think there was just barely enough room, but I mean, even still, when you see a guy go that wide, you have to be ready for him to come back up. And Tyler Mantell, the Mustang involved, he's got some significant right front damage as well, maybe even a tire rub. We're going to go back live here. Sani Soljanovic in the pits, and that's going to take out Prahapati too as well. He tried to make it work there on the outside, tried to gas it up, but unfortunately, right, anytime a wreck happens, you want to stay away from that outside lane because guys are going to lose their momentum. They're going to lose their control. They're immediately going to fly to the outside of the corner, right? Unless it's a bank circuit. If it's a bank circuit, then they're going to start going towards the inside. But this is not a bank circuit. We've got, yeah, Scott Moose was the GTP involved in that. So,
no, I was pretty sure that was Brabati. Anyway.
We're absolutely rolling here at the Motor City Racing League here at Sebring.
Sorry, I'm over here disagreeing with our producer.
I was about to say,
very helpful to the production booth.
Yeah, we are going into a replay. Man, there's so much going on right now.
There's so much.
We've got another one. So Scott Moose in the 18, he is going to. Oh my God, he just takes him out.
Collect as well.
What in the world?
That's going to be the likes of the Knight Benarowitz, that number 93, who was ahead of Braden Carlson.
He's flashing those lights. He gets down on the inside, and you got to slow down, man. You got to brake. If you're going to be that tight to the inside, you got to manage your brakes a lot better than that because he flew right up into the fender, and Andrew Brooks as well involved in another incident. And, he just gets taken out as well. These guys are just absolutely brawling right now. The gloves are off, beating the hell out of one another. I was about to say, right? We are here for the demo derby, baby. This is how we do it in the States. You just got to trust me. Oh man. Andrew Brooks rear ends the GTP, and as a result, he will get unceremoniously dumped. So some would say deserved. I would say it's more so just a racing incident. Just happens when you get guys that close together in cars that different. But yeah, off to a hot start here at Sebring. We are not even through the first 20 minutes, and we've got like what, 18 incidents, something like that. Something crazy number. Something
like that. A huge bit of gaps starting to open up for most of these classes. The couple battles in class still going on. Matthew Elmore getting around Chad Henson, but Chad Henson not wanting to let him run off into the sunset with it as they get into more GT3 Pro and AM traffic themselves.
Man, that car is beautiful. You know which one I'm talking about.
I assume the one that we're focusing on, but I would also say that there are there are in fact a lot of cars on this one. I also would have to imagine you're probably talking about.
Get it in slow motion. There she is. Golly, that Motor Racing machine is gorgeous. Tell you what. Oh yeah, no, we're still live here. Not to worry, ladies and gentlemen, you're not missing out on any racing action. Speaking of which, I saw some dust in the air. Somebody definitely got into the grass there. Those GTPs, man, they are flashing those lights. Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
They are flashing.
Back into the fight with San Filippo, excuse me. And this four-way battle for basically the back half of the grid at this point. Matthew Elmore, Chad Henson, as well as San Filippo and Scott Moose. Nate Benarowitz trying to get back around Braden Carlson after he got on and ceremoniously dumped it in this corner just a couple laps before.
Yep. And, oh man, he is making up some time as well. Hit him with a switchback coming out of the final corner. Have the momentum going into one. Does he sling it down the inside? Not quite. Doesn't have the room. He's going to elect to fall back for the time being. But just keep your eyes peeled on that 93 car. Nate Benarowitz trying to chase down Braden Carlson.
I won that, I think. This battle, I think, will keep on battling for a huge minute, but I think
ooh baby, we got P9 and P8. Yep, in the GT Pro, Dennis Daniel trying to hawk down that P8 spot from the Ferrari. Not able to find any room just yet. Lose a little bit going through that series of corners. He'll have a good chance going down this straightaway to maybe get another shot at it. He's got to nail his marks though. And into the dirt goes the Ferrari, so he's definitely going to have a chance right here.
Logan Beecher's going to have to really put that car back together for a little bit.
Yep.
Ferrari just ahead of Dennis Daniel. Two drivers that had a bit of a moment here. Jason Acton going to be one of the few that we've seen a bit of crash reports come across the timing tower. At least our timing screen on our end. Very loose moment into that.
Ooh.
Keeps it. Oh. almost say keeps out of the wall, but does not do that and just ends up going into and then out of pit lane, which I think means that he'll probably get a little bit upset with that.
The caution cones were there. Oh, I see. So the cones, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no! Christopher Violante. That is a hard lick. Man, you know he's feeling that one. Oh, man, he just nowhere to go. Yeah, that is.
Just
man.
catches
what
that.
In the world? Well.
And he had just finished putting that car back together as well. So insult to injury there as he was trying to make somewhat of a recovery of a race. And then I think just misjudged where that car was going to end up.
Good Lord. I mean, you can't say he didn't earn that one. Let's be honest here, right? Eye for an eye, as they say. Of course, Mahatma Gandhi said eye for an eye and the whole world goes blind. But there's a reason he's the best at getting nuclear weapons in Civ 6, all right? So, with that being said, John Sanfilippo, he is also going to be involved in something here. No, he's not. We're back. We're live. We're back to live right here. He's going to be trying to hawk down that P8 position.
Scott Moose just got around him not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see where that battle continues, especially as Chad Henson now under fire from Scott Moose. And
oh, man. Absolute pandemonium on track. We're seeing, oh, there we go. Christopher Violante, you can see his car getting worked on. Pit crew's doing a great job there. Trying to put that thing back together for the second time as a result. That was a hard lick, man. Those head-on hits into the wall, they're always so, man, those hurt. Those really, really hurt. Like, obviously, we're not feeling it because it's a game. But, like, you just imagine feeling it. It's like, oh, it's like getting hit in the stomach with a baseball bat.
Absolutely. And if you have one of those motion rigs, it's still almost, and you don't have, like, the dampeners on. It definitely can be similar. So it is definitely one that you have to, like, keep an eye on. And I think pandemonium breaking out in the GTP category as battle for the lead in the class also seems to be kicking off, much like this battle with Sam Serino and Dennis Daniel, who's looking to keep on working up the order.
Oh, yeah. He's going to try and take that 9th spot. He's got a good opportunity right here. He might sling it down to the inside going into the final corner. He is going to sling it down the inside. Sam Serino puts it all out on the table, and he is just going to get right by him. He'll hold the inside. We'll see if he can hang on. He's going to go wide here, trying to slide up the track. Slide job. Slide job. He's got it. Sam Serino hangs on, and he will take P9 as a result. Look at that. Masterful work from Sam Serino right there. That is a masterclass in how to do a slide job.
Not to dissuade the position that he got. He did get an overall position, but John Milton is unfortunately a GT3 AM driver, so no increase in the in-class positions. But given how they are scored, I believe he's still going to get some points there if he remains where he is achieved by the end of the race.
I mean, you got let me have this one, man. You got guys passing each other. You got to get excited. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
I'm not trying to say don't be excited. I'm just clarifying that the numbers in class do not change.
That is true. Nate Benarowitz, speaking of numbers in class changing, he is just right up the rear of Braden Carlson. He's going to try and hit him with a switchback, but just so much slower through that final corner. That graphic is hilarious. Nate Benarowitz not able to make it work in the final corner. Is he gonna sling it? Oh man, I really want somebody to sling it down the inside on that first corner. Man, first corner. Braden Carlson. Yeah, just a bit. Yeah. Well, not really. You'd be surprised how close it actually blows. You get up towards the north side of Florida.
Yeah. All right, I'm still just digging a hole with being here, so I'll stop talking now.
Meanwhile, Hal Pedro Tome, he is going to be trying to take this 3rd spot away from Corey Sertoff. Unsuccessfully so far, GT Pro lap traffic going to cause problems as well. He's going to have to go down to the inside, flashing those lights, man. He is just trying to let him know, like the guy just does not have mirrors. But Will Lindley as well. He's going to be trying to take second away from Cash Savage, and he's doing a pretty decent job of it right now. He's right up the rear end. That Mustang hawking down that BMW. He's going to try and set himself up here, but not quite able to find it.
Absolutely. It's going to be super interesting as well. Cash Savage, his teammate, is right behind Will Lindley. That's going to be Keegan Allen. He's going to be sitting right behind in fourth. So it's a bit of an awkward one. Will Lindley trying to figure out how he can get out of the Oreo sandwich of the Savage teammates. Those two drivers there working pretty well. You're going to have to play a little bit defensive. This does keep opening that gap to Di Dunnett, who is up at the front end by 8 seconds. Will Lindley making the look.
Yeah, Will Lindley. He's going to try and make it work. Can't quite get there. And now as a result, here comes the 221.
Keegan
Allen.
Allen.
He's almost there. Keegan Allen can't quite get it done. Will Lindley, Keegan Allen side by side, bumper to bumper, rail to rail. Will Lindley is going to hang on to that third position, but only just. Keegan Allen still has him under fire going through these final set of corners. It is all going to come down to this final straight if he hangs on or not. We are almost at the halfway point of this race, and things starting to heat up here in GT Pro. Keegan Allen trying to swing it, trying to get that momentum. Is he going to swing out? Still trying to hang on to that bumper. Getting all the momentum, all the draft that he can. He's going to swing out, going into this final corner. And now he's going to get shot down to the inside. Nearly cuts across his nose. Just Will Lindley. Keegan Allen takes it. Going into the final corner. Can he hang on? He will. And so Keegan Allen.
A moment there as Will Lindley's going to dive into pit lane. As a result.
I think he was trying to keep him out of the inside then. If his plan was to pit in the first place, seeing Keegan Allen going to the inside there might have been a problem. And now how Pedro Tome going to try and get around these cars. Still trying to hawk down that third position from Corey Sertoff, but just not able to quite make it done. Trouble in the back. Whoa. We've got one around on the exit of the final corner, right in front of traffic. Milton. It might be Milton. Oh, man. How Pedro Tome still trying to take this position. He's about 1/10 back now. I was looking at the Corey Sertoff graphic there on the left. Got the times mixed up. But he's still trying to make it happen. Just doesn't quite have the speed.
One of his little bit of strategy there, too. We also got to see the swap for the lead in LMP2 amongst all this. And then this is going to be that incident with John Milton. He's going to be that 23 driver. Got passed by San Sereno not too long ago. Just a little bit too much rotation. And comes to a sliding stop. Trouble. Decides to take it into pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, not bad. I mean, if you're there, you might as well, right?
Look at that pass for P1 in class. Stanielewski going to get around a Casey Catola that had a big off trying to get through multi-class traffic, missing the opportunity there. And then the look into Tower Corner is going to see him dive to the inside, get the brakes on, and then the over-under keeps it stuck, which will have him. Yeah, this is going to be how Casey Catola. You see it, he's already off at that point, but he was trying to avoid multi-class traffic. That was Dennis Daniel there in that other GT3 Porsche. He's right on board there with Casey Catola. Other drivers as well. Makes the look on the inside, and then just, I think, outbrakes himself.
Yeah. It happens to the best of us. You know, sometimes you just misjudge where the markers are at. And as a result, he's going to come right back up onto the racing line, but he will lose that spot. So now for the first time tonight, not in the lead, Casey Catola of LMP2, and John Milton losing the lead, obviously, in GT AM. But I believe that we've still got the same leader here for GT Pro. Let's go back to How Pedro Tome. Still trying to find that spot. Oh, he just gets held up. Man, that has got to be so frustrating for him, just trying to get around this slower car. Gosh, man, you really hate that for him. He was so close to taking that spot. Now he's got to make up all that ground again.
It's traffic giveth and traffic taketh away is often the phrase I get heard used by by endurance drivers on both ends of that stick. Both faster drivers as well as the slower drivers in terms of which class they're driving in. So it's one that, you know, you give it enough time, he'll find a moment where Corey Sertoff will have an equal moment of being held up at some point later on. As we get to the halfway point, just get past it, and we'll see that window for the fuel stops really open up. And a bunch of drivers are already driving in from the GT3 category, as well as a couple more from the LMP2 category.
Oh yeah.
As well as GTPs.
Oh yeah, we've got a lot of shifting around going on. Braden Carlson up to third in the GTPs as well. He has been on the move here tonight. And Cash Savage and Keegan Allen both back up in a second and third, respectively. Sam Serino still making some moves here. He is nothing if not electric here at Sebring tonight. He is unfortunately going to get shoved to the outside right there, not able to make it past that poor LMP2 behind him. Nowhere to go. Trying to wait for this battle to conclude, trying to get underneath both of them. And it looks like he will be able to get through. And now Sam Serino tries to go to the inside. Nothing doing. Hits him with a switchback out of the corner. Just trying to get on that rear bumper. Can't quite find the space. More contact. They are rubbing together right now. Whoo, baby, we are in for a good one. Sam Serino nearly bumps him going into that corner. I don't know what the rules are for the Motor City Racing League when it comes to contact like that, but I'm sure that it's definitely a little bit stricter than most, given the stakes. And so Sam Serino, he's going to try and take this spot. Is he going to be able to get it? Now swings to the inside as the Mustang goes wide. Can he get there? Oh, man, it's going to be close. He's going to have the draft going into the final straight, but is he going to get blocked or not? That's the question. He is going to sling it down to the inside, going into the final corner. He has the fender. Now he has the door. Now they're side by side into the final corner. Forced to the outside. Nothing the 22 can do. Sam Serino is going to hang on and take that spot, but only just. He's hanging on by the skin of his teeth right now. He'll need lights-out defense to hang on.
He certainly will. And huge, in the middle of all this, a huge swath of the GT3 Pro as well as the LMP2 and GTP groupings, classes of cars, all going to dive in pit lane to get those pit stops done for the evening. Got everything from Alex Lalonde from the lead of the race up to the most of that field. Christopher Demko and Braden Carlson both going to stay out for the GTPs. Richard Danielewski going to be, I think, one of the last LMP2s to come in for the pit stop alongside JT Langley, as well as Stuart Jones. And then almost all of the GT3 category, both Pro and AM, have come in already, with the exception, I think, of Jake Young being one of our few drivers that have yet to do so from that category. It's going to be, I think, it was already a busy pit lane. It's going to be a busy couple of out laps as they get these tires refired back up. I don't think I've seen anybody hop onto the jacks. Once again, like I talked about early on, pretty hard to do, but Will Lindley going to be right in the battle with Cash Savage as a result, and he's going to try to see if he can't stick a pass here on the inside.
Yep, Cash Savage now forced to try and fight back, and he will down the inside. All the cars behind him having to go wide. As a result, now he shoves him off the track. Look at this. The gloves are still off, still taking no prisoners. Is any driver here in this race? Will Lindley now has to try and fight back. He is going to have the speed. Are we going 3 wide into the final corner? Oh, baby. Man, that was dangerous there for a second, and as a result, he is going to be relegated back to 4th now.
Yeah, Jake Van Hees going to catch a position there as well as Will Lindley got pushed out wide. Cash Savage going to do his best amongst all that to defend for both these drivers. Now both getting a little bit of a draft going into turn number 1.
Oh, Jake Van Hees tries to get on the rear bumper, can't quite make it work. Will Lindley behind him tries to hit the switchback, can't get the momentum. Now trying to hang on is Cash Savage. He's got 2 cars right up the tailpipe. Can he hold them off? 24 minutes left to go in this race. Still plenty of time for anyone here to make a mistake. And now the poor LMP2 behind him's got to make his way around all 3. Oh, my goodness. He's going to make a great start here, getting around the outside of Will Lindley. And now it's Cash Savage trying to lock down that outside lane. Thought he was going to pull low. Didn't quite make the same move that he was expecting. Now Jake Van Hees looking to take this second spot. But the hypercar behind him is going to cause problems. It looks like he is going to be able to get by here. Problem is, he's got one shove to the outside as a result. And so now after it all shakes out, they've got another car behind them going to try and interrupt this battle. But, I mean, he might just sit around here just waiting for the opportunity. They are still just under a blanket right now. Nobody's making a move yet, but they're going to have a chance going into the final corner. We might see him 3 wide into the last one here. And Jake Van Hees now to the outside, tries to get there.
Inside comes the outside, comes the inside.
Oh, there. Still just neck and neck.
Oh,
And now
it's going to be some net code.
goes
Cash
Savage, and it's going to collect one of the hypercars. It's going to collect Jake Van Hees as well. So Will Lindley gets promoted to second by default, and now they've got to try and get it back gathered up. And man, that is a rough one. We're going to go to the drone cam, try and get a look at this. The 269, Jake Van Hees. He was just trying to make it stick, had the bumper, and yep, Cash Savage. Oh, and they collect. Yeah. They collect the LMP2 as well. Poor guy.
JT Langley of the LMP2 category amongst the background of that. We're out on board here with Jake Van Hees. You can see Cash Savage right up ahead. Isn't clear quite yet, and then just enough of that front bumper catches his side, and then as he tries to catch that car, the LMP2 adds insult to injury.
Yeah. It all kind of just fades to white noise whenever you're trying to avoid a crash like that. Had no idea the LMP2 was there, and if he did, he was just willing to take the risk, and understandably so. So Will Lindley, he's going to get promoted to second by default as a result of that. So, after it is all said and done, we've got a little bit more action to look at right here. We've got Sam Sereno. He's been so good in this final corner, but he just goes wide, and...
contact. That's going to be...
Man, that's rough.
That it is. I think that's what the likes of Drew Leonard, who we saw him battling with earlier.
Oi. AT Langley down and out so far. We'll see him try and get it gathered back up, able to do so successfully. And trying to see what happened here. And I think he just a little bit too much gas on it. And a flush hit with the wall. You never like to see that. Might have a tire rub there on that right front. We're going to go back to Stuart Jones, see what happened to him. Is he out of gas?
I think he is. The reason I say that, he's the only one who had not come in from the LMP2 category prior to this incident where he was quite slow. And then he eventually, very slowly, makes his way into pit lane.
Oh my goodness. That's got to be terrifying for those cars that are trying to pass him, especially when he's right there on the inside. But we all managed to get through. Relatively little contact, little chaos here. Pit lane mostly empty now as the pit stops have mostly concluded. Christopher Damkohler now trying to chase down Londelay.
Yeah, Lalonde going to be in a bit of a pickle here, trying to get through multi-class traffic. Damkohler getting better luck these past couple of interactions they've had with the GT3 category. And puts them back within a second of each other. The speed differential most of the time in the laps, pretty darn close in terms of the last lap times as well as their overall lap times. And so it'll be interesting to see who has the better consistency over the next remaining 25 minutes. Almost 20 minutes, excuse me.
Yep, still got quite a bit of time left to go here. We're going to continue to watch him try to just chase down Alex Lalonde. Sorry, I mispronounced that name earlier. I was trying to remember what it was, but I just couldn't quite pull it from the memory bank. Meanwhile, other classes, Richard Danielewski still leading by about 5.5 seconds in LMP2. Ty Dunnett still very comfortably in the lead. Hasn't really seen anyone from the GT Pro Series make a run at his throne, so to speak. So he's about 16 seconds ahead of Will Lindley. GT AM still led by Drew Leonard by about 6.5 seconds over John Ross. And John Milton, who was so dominant to start this race, nowhere to be found. So with all that being said, we are setting up for a pretty nice cruise to the finish here for these endurance races, and that's usually how it goes, barring any crazy chaos. It's usually like that. Usually, the winner about 5 minutes before the race is over.
Usually, but we'll have to see if that's going to be the case here. Alex Lalonde as well as Christopher Damkohler are both going to be trying to catch each other as well as they get past the end of LMP2's in terms of dealing with multi-class traffic. Going to be an interesting one. Christopher Damkohler going to be a little more patient, tuck in behind, because the speed differential between the LMP2 and the GTP pretty almost non-existent in the slower and medium speed corners, because both of them have the same or darn close to the same amount of aero. And the only big thing is going to be that hybrid unit giving them a little bit more power on the straights or whenever they apply that accelerator. And that's how you're going to see the pass get done pretty easily for Christopher Damkohler, but it's going to open up that gate just a little bit.
Here comes... Oh, never mind. They're not on the same lap. Excuse me. I thought that was going to be a battle for second right there. Ty Dunnett. There's just nobody around him. Just completely by himself here on this track. he has just completely run away with this.
Yeah, great consistency, good setup there for that GT3 Pro driver. And then also the incident there for Cash Savage, Keegan Allen, Jake Van Hees, going to make that pretty wild there. Matt Marino, a little ways down the GT3 Pro order, as well as the overall GT3 order, going to get a pass done, ideally on Jake Young.
Yeah.
We'll see if that he's able to hold that.
But Jake Young had a better exit. He is going to go down the inside. He's going to try and get a little bit of slipstream, but can't quite make it work going into the first corner. So Matt Marino secures P12 for the time being. But Jake Young does not look like he wants to give this up. He is a little bit faster going through this sector of corners. We'll see if he can hang on to it, because he is charging ahead with a full head of steam.
Yeah, and a little bit further back as well, Dante Friosi, as well as, I believe, Steven Uzek and Adam Faust all in a battle as well.
Looks like, man, he's trying to chase him down. The GTP is going to cause quite a few problems here. But now that he is clear of the battle, now Dante Furiosi trying to make it work on the inside. Can't quite get it to stick. And so now they're going to go through this corner and just trying to conserve as much speed as possible.
Yeah, you saw the P1 and P2 in the GTP category work their way through this mix of GT3s, and you're going to see the leader of LMP2 now looming on the horizon as he works his way through. The flash there.
Yeah.
Richard Danielewski continue to try to keep that 6-second gap he's built up to Casey Catola as a result of the incident there, and then the pit cycle adding to that gap there in the lead of the LMP2 category.
Oh, we've got another fight right here. Not able to quite get it done as Logan Beecham. He had it for the outside there for just a moment in the Ferrari. He's not quite able to make it work, and so he'll be relegated back to 9th for the time being, but that could be subject to change.
Certainly could be. Dennis Daniel right ahead of him. Going to have a pretty fantastic run so far, but the two of them battle before. Logan Beecham looking to try to take the spot back for a point of pride as well as the position.
Yeah, it looks like Dennis Daniel's just going to try and hold him off here. He's got about a 5/10 gap. Meanwhile, Joshua Lane to the inside of Braden Carlson. Nearly had it there for a second, but unfortunately just a little bit too much on the brakes. His exit's going to be worse off for it. Now trying to turn that slipstream into another opportunity going into the final corner. Not quite going to have it. Now he's going to... Oh, no way. No way, Joshua Lane. You're not going to attempt this. He's going to try and make it stick on the bottom. He's got it side by side. He's got the wheel. He's got the door. Joshua Lane makes it work. Braden Carlson, now he's going to take another spot as well. Joshua Lane, that is gorgeous. What a move on Braden Carlson. And he is scratching his head wondering what the hell just happened.
Well, yeah, probably Joshua Lane trying to figure out what the heck went on there to give Braden Carlson such a slow run. Got a couple of lap traffic, and then Braden Carlson's going to add insult to injury, not of his own accord. Going to run a little bit wide, throw him right back into a fight further back with a lap traffic, I believe, of Scott Moose.
Man, what a great move that was by Joshua Lane. Braden Carlson, he's been so good, so consistent, but just has not had the luck. And luck is one of those things that you need to win a race, right? I mean, everything can go your way, but if you're just unlucky, then that's just it. You get collected in an accident that wasn't your fault, and it's see you later. You know what I mean? See you next week. So, unfortunately, if you're not a very lucky individual, you're not going to win a lot of races. And I think Braden Carlson is experiencing a bit of that tonight. First in qualifying, and now this. You can. But it takes a whole lot to make your own luck in a sport like this one. Meanwhile, Cash Savage trying to hawk down these cars in front of him. Will Lindley still comfortably in second by about 3.2 seconds. And now things kind of slow down here, no pun intended. Everybody's just trying to keep the space. Everybody is just trying to hang on to the spot that they have.
15 minutes remaining. Cash Savage, definitely not one that wants to hang on to the spot he has after that incident earlier. He's trying to see if he can't take that fight to Jack Peterson.
Yeah, we'll see. He's trying to close in right here. If he gets a good exit coming out of this sector here, he could have a chance. He has a fast car. We know this, but because he's been involved in incidents, maybe that damage playing a factor.
Hey, you know, we talked about that incident earlier, but I was trying to look at this car, and I'm still trying to figure out whether or not how much damage there actually is, because that car looks surprisingly clean for one that has been in a couple of spins.
I was about to say, the damage would be located on the right side. We've only seen the left so far. So we'll see how it looks coming down the front straightaway. It'd be on that right rear. It does look like there's a dent in that right rear. But just a dent. I don't think it's going to give him a tire rub. He's getting a good exit out of this corner. He might have a chance at Peterson here. We'll see. Not quite going to have enough momentum. So he is going to have to sit and wait for another few corners before he's going to have his chance. Well, they both hit the dirt right there. We're going to go to a replay of something else that's happened on track. Richard Danielewski is trying to cut through this lap traffic, and man, he is just stalling, and now he is turned. That is unfortunate. He just locked it down, and as a result, did not have the momentum to survive the contact. You can see from the drone camera right here, he's just pushing onto the dirt, and he just, they were just 3 wide. Just that's where the spotter can really help you out if it's an actual person as opposed to the computer, because the computer's kind of delayed. Whereas if you have a human, you're gonna be like, he's just right there in your ear, like, hey, you're bottom of 3, and unfortunately, just probably not have that at his disposal there. Stu Higgins gonna be involved. He's gonna be taken out by one of the GTs, and that's pretty much all she wrote for that one. He's coming up the inside right here, all clear so far, and now up the inside, it just was not left to space. Man, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, one thing I would note is that it's a little bit late to be on the lunge there. That GT3 is going to have to commit to that corner at some point, and because they are on pretty much the ragged grip of edge throughout almost all the lap in the GT3 program, you had every opportunity, I think, in the LB2 just to be a little bit patient.
We let Max Verstappen get away with it. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a double standard, because that's exactly how he does it.
I would say it's also different. That's an F1 car with other F1 cars. Not multi-class racing.
If anything, you would be more careful in those cars because of how fragile they are. They're even more fragile than these.
I mean, I would say potato. There's every opportunity for the F1 cars to not do that, but Max Verstappen is Max Verstappen. That's a different conversation for another day.
For sure.
We're going to get in the weeds here. More so than we need to, as we still watch this battle between Cash Out and Jack Peterson. They're catching up to a different Max Fletcher, who's had a bit of a good recovery drive throughout most of this race. Had a bit of an early incident there, but otherwise has had a pretty uneventful one and got to capitalize a little bit on the incident with Jake Van Hees and Cash Savage, as well as that LP2 of JT Langley.
But Peterson and Savage are making time on him. They're getting just a little bit closer here. They may have enough time to catch up to him. But Cash Savage, now he's going to go to the inside. Now he elects to fall back. Not quite wanting to make that move. That was a bit optimistic. I was getting excited, though. They're both going to take a little bit of a trip through the dirt there. And as a result, things pretty much stay the same here. Gap now extends to 0.3 after the premature pass attempt. And so, with 9:38 to go, he's right on the rear bumper, man. Oh, gosh. Oh, he's right there. Come on. He's going to get it. Now he's got the fender. Now he's got the door. Going for it on the inside. Shoves him off the track. Get off me, he says. And Cash Savage cracks into the top 5. As a result, Jack Peterson going to try and chase him back down.
Yeah, Jack Peterson not going to leave that one too alone. He's going to look for that opportunity. They're going to tuck back in. It's going to be interesting to see if he makes the look again, especially going to have a good run down to Sunset Bend. His backstretch, a good opportunity for the draft to play in for these cars. Cash Savage so much quicker on that exit. Let's see if that really kind of makes it a null point.
Ooh, baby. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of space going in that final straight. He could goof the final corner, though. Not likely. He's been pretty solid through here all night long. And as the time continues to wind down, Jack Peterson's going to start feeling that pressure any moment now.
Jack Peterson going to try to see if he can hang on and get the opportunity back. And this is definitely going to be one that is an interesting bit of mix here. Because of that incident, Danielewski only has 3 seconds to himself, Casey Catola, but Casey Catola run about 2 seconds a lap slower, most recent time by due to multi-class traffic. Stu Higgins on the charge, trying to get Jose Zayas-Droz, who's right ahead of him now at this point. These two into a battle as a result of a bit of a slow multi-class encounter. It's been fun to see how Stu Higgins has the speed and the tempo to get the points back. Late in the braking zone, though, is going to take him out wide. He's going to have to tuck back in for a little while longer. We come down to the hairpin. Such a fun one. The sunset now doing a little bit of reflection on the tarmacs. A bit of a hard one there. Stu Higgins makes the briefest of looks, but keeps it back in. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not these drivers are going to be able to bring a fight to each other here on the closing stages. Stu going to, I think, have the look as soon as he can.
I'm looking good so far. He's going to try and reel him in here. Just got to set him up, hit your marks, right? It's all about patience, 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 patience. That is the key to making passes like this. We're going to go to a replay to something else that's happened on track just a moment ago. Adam Faust, the focus of today's lesson. We'll see what he does going into the final corner. And all good so far. And he makes some contact.
Okay.
Oh, man. Car in front slowed down because he went into the pits. And Adam Faust is not expecting it. See, this is where a turn signal would be really handy. I feel like they should put turn signals in cars. That would be really nice.
I mean, I wish they'd enable them for the cars that do have the buttons. That way they can, indicate if they're going into the pit or not.
Yeah, I feel like that would be, or if there was a way to flash the rear lights. I don't know, because you know how you flash the forward lights to indicate that you're passing as the faster car. It'd be nice if you could flash the rears to let somebody know that you're about to pit, but I don't know. People might take advantage of that. People might, make dummy calls, say that they're pitting when they're not actually pitting, and then, that would lead to a whole thing. So, yeah, maybe it is better that they don't have any indicators, because I just realized how many people would actually abuse that. And then it's going to be a boy who cried wolf situation, right, where somebody's going to fake pitting, and then they're going to not respect it, and we end up in the same situation we were just in. So that's probably why that doesn't exist. Man, look at us answering all the hard questions today.
I feel like you just answered it yourself. I just was along for the ride and just yes man to figure out all of it. I think you've got a pretty solid understanding there. As John Sanfilippo have a bit of a moment amongst all those, and the rest of the field working its way through. Casey Catola slowly grinding away the time here in the final closing stages to Richard Danielewski as we keep on board with the likes of a few different groups in the closing stages of this race. We're going to take a look at what happened to Sanfilippo. Scott Moose also in the battle here, but I think there's just a little bit too much rotation, not enough brake. He's going to go sliding out wide. Just a little touch on the front. That'll be enough for you there.
Little kiss. That's all they gave it. It's a tiny little peck right there. All right, Adam Faust, once again, the focus of today's lesson. Actually, no, we're back live. Are we back live? Yeah, we're back live.
Yes.
Transition. I saw that, trust me. Adam Faust, the 51, still trying to chase down, but he himself is being chased right now. And, he's got to try and hang on. He needs lights-out defense right here. And, he's just not going to take his opportunity. Okay, so he's just going to elect to ride his bumper there. And that 51 just trying to hang on to the top 10. 45 hot on his heels, though.
Ronald Lucy looking to try to see what time he can get back up, see if he can break into the top 10 there. GT3 Corvette. Yep,
still hanging on right here. So far, so good. But he is going to need just a little bit more. That McLaren is going to have to get every mile he possibly can get out of it. Time continues to tick down here. 3:45 to go. We are in the end game now.
Yeah, probably about 2 more laps, if I'm not mistaken.
He got a little bit wide right there. Now off the track goes the 45. Now Steven Uszak is going to try and take 8th place here from the 43. Yeah, we're going to try and cut around. Oh, Matthew Elmore trying to get to the inside right there. Can't quite get it done. Now things are heating up in the final stages of this. Everybody's trying to take all the spots they can to make contact for a moment there. Prabhati kind of trying to take things here. So Dante Furiosi is going to get past. And now is he going to try and take it back going into turn one? Not quite. Not in the position that he wants to be to make that happen. But he is going to have the momentum coming out of that first corner. Still elects to just stay behind. He's got 2 minutes and 48 seconds to work with, so about 2 laps to go here after it's all going to be said and done. Alex Lalonde still hanging on to the lead by 1.2. Richard Danielewski hanging on to the lead of LMP2 by 2.9. Ty Dunnett still comfortably in the lead of Pro by about 15 seconds. And then in GT3 AM, Drew Leonard is leading by 11. So the leads of each class kind of figured out at this point. But we've still got some very, very good battles here and now.
I would say, yes. I would say that they're figured out, but I think they're both the GTP as well as the LMP2, one bad moment away from being back into contention. Cash Savage now continue to work his way up the order, trying to see if he can't find some time to match Max Fletcher and get himself further in. A couple of incidents as well in the GTP category. He's going to see a few drivers fall down, such as Matthew Elmore going to try to see if he can't make his way back around.
Oh!
And that's where that incident takes place. And he gets shunted off to the end. A couple off tracks as well amongst all that. Sees Chad Henson work his way through.
What in the world even happened here? It looked like he got took out from the left. Yeah, it looks like just a netcode issue and hard into the tires. Netcode
/ his sim, understanding that he got hit a little bit harder than what we saw on our end.
Yeah.
And
hang on. Lalonde is being challenged. Something must have happened earlier because now Christopher Damkohler has closed the gap. Now, white flag waves. This will be the last time by, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure. I don't know. I can't see the time.
Yes. Yep.
And here we go. White flag is waving. This is it. Christopher Damkohler is going to get one shot at this. This for the lead of the race. And the lap traffic just doing their best to stay out of the way here. He's down to 4/10. Alex Lalonde, who's been lights out all night tonight. Can he keep it going? He is going to need perfect defense, and it is all going to come down to this.
Yeah, it's a quick moment, and bad multi-class traffic is how we get into this fight. Just talked about it a little moment ago, and that seemed to be the case. Christopher Damkohler trying to see if he can't put together this final lap and end up in the fighting position to get in front of him by the end of Sunset Bend as they work their way through the middle sector here. It'll be interesting to see how much he leverages that multi-class traffic, not a whole lot of multi-class traffic, in front of them for the moment. So how much he can leverage good apexes and exits, that lap time that put him just a few hundredths behind in the qualifying section.
So here we go. Clear track, clear skies. Final sector, final lap. Here we go. The clock strikes 0. And does the slipper fall off the foot, or will Alex Lalonde ride his chariot to victory? Now the gap closes even further. He's got to be picture perfect going through these final corners. It's one straightaway. Christopher Damkohler's going to get one shot. Gap closing. He's got the fender. He's going to try and get to the door. Doesn't quite have the speed. It's going to take a monumental move down the inside. Now he gets it on there. They're side by side, door to door, going to the final corner. Alex Lalonde going to try and hit the switch back, going back, but I don't think he's got it. Christopher Damkohler makes it stick. He is going to take the lead, and the final corner on the final lap, Christopher Damkohler comes across to win the opener for GTP for Season 7 of the Motor City Racing League. And we've got some great battles taking place behind them. Richard Danielewski, not in a similar situation. Casey Catola would need a miracle with a 2.5 second gap. Meanwhile, Ty Dunnett still making his way through with about 16-second lap. Ty is over. He has won this one for GT Pro. You can see he goes off the track. Drew Leonard as well is coming across the line soon. And that looks like it is going to be that. So Alex Lalonde was lights out all night tonight, but unfortunately, they turned back on at the worst possible time. Christopher Damkohler taking the lead right there in the final corner. That was electric. And man, he's got to be happy about that one.
Certainly is. I think he's using the right, sticking with him the whole race. No real incidents for either of those drivers, and then just one good call, one good opportunity to kind of park it on the apex to make sure that Lalonde loses the overspeed that he was looking to get with the over/under, and not reopening that door. Sees him hold on to it. Drew Leonard gonna get a good lead there. We're gonna take a look back at this last moments here. The rest of the field gonna work their way through. Pretty close battle, middle of the GTP pack as well, but diving into these final corners, just a slightly better exit. Dam-Kohler looking on the inside, which is why this line was a little bit wider, and the speed ended up being almost similar between the two. Get a little bit of a side draft off of that one for Christopher Dam-Kohler as well. Just enough of a nose in to where he can get alongside him. Leans on the door, opens it up, slams it closed behind him because he parks it on the apex there, and then drives away into the sunset and finishes out that lap just ahead of Lalonde.
Oh, man. What a move. What a move from Christopher Dam-Kohler. That is beautiful. Absolutely textbook. If you're looking for advice or for an example on how to pass, especially in a high-pressure situation like that, that is perfection. My goodness. As everybody else comes across the line, we will get you our results. So, Christopher Dam-Kohler obviously coming across the line first. Alex Lalonde coming in second, Nate Benarowicz in third, and then Josh Mullane will bring up fourth. Chad Henson will round out our top five.
Yeah, it's going to be Braden Carlson with some of those. You're good. Scott Moo's going to be seventh. John Filipino going to be in eighth. Matthew Elmore going to be in ninth, and then Jeremy Roos going to be the top 10 there of our 13 car GTP grid. We get into the LMP2s.
Mm-hmm. We'll take a look here. So, top five of the LMP2s, we've got the Richard Danielewski coming across the line in first by a comfortable margin of 2.4 seconds. Casey Catola, Al Pedro Tome in second and third. And then we've got Corey Serdoff and Chris Santiago rounding out the top five.
Basically getting to the best of the rest here. Jordan Miller going to be in sixth. Stu Higgins going to be in seventh. Jose Rafael Zayas Draws going to be in eighth, as well as Stuart Jones and JT Langley running out that top 10.
Mm-hmm. 11 car grid for the LMP2s tonight. Speaking of grids, we're going to bring you the results of the GT Pro. So Ty Dunnett winning by an extremely comfortable margin in that Mustang. He is going to be winning by about 16 seconds over Will Lindley, who made a heroic pass to pass Keegan Allen and Cash Savage earlier in the race, who will bring up third and fourth. And Jack Peterson will quietly round out our top five.
And at six, it's going to be Jake Van Hees with Max Fletcher, Dennis Daniel, Marcus Taylor, as well as Logan Beecham rounding out that top 10 of the GT Pro category of that 18-car grid. And we get into the GT3 AMs.
Yep. So it looks like we got Drew Leonard, who is going to be coming across the line with the win here in GT AM. John Ross behind by about 11.5 seconds. Nicholas Cara in third is going to be in that six machine. And then we've got Jake Young in fourth, and Jackson Oglesby in that 13 car will round out the top five.
And six will be Arthur Hermes, as well as John Milton in 6 and 7. Stephen Uzak, Adam Faust, as well as Dante Feroci, and round out that top 10.
Yeah, that's it. That's your results, right? It was an absolutely wonderful race here tonight. Glad that we got the chance to witness it. I believe we're doing interviews with each class winner, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be good. Oh man, we got one of them who is MIA at the moment. Unfortunately, the man who made the final pass, Christopher Dam-Kohler, nowhere to be found. So. Before we get to that, yeah, we're going to start with our LMP2 winner, and he will be coming in momentarily. Richard Danielewski in that 30 car. Had a great performance here tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Richard Danielewski, driver of that 30 car here for the Motor City Racing League in Season 7. A great start to the season here, Richard. Talk me through tonight's race. What was happening on that track? It looked like absolute pandemonium out there. How'd you survive?
Oh, it was a fun race. I was looking forward to racing with everybody, and especially CK. Thanks for him in the league for putting everything together. It was just knew how to keep things consistent and try to avoid the incidents with traffic. Got caught up in it a little bit, but wasn't horrendous. Didn't take too much damage, just a little soft touch, and managed to keep the car pointed in the right direction afterward.
Heck yeah! I mean, a pretty dominant streak. All things considered, you were pretty solid the whole day. Well, let's talk pit strategy here for a second, right? Obviously, with some cars needing pit stops, getting their damage repaired, getting fresh fuel, that sort of thing. What was going through your minds in terms of just strategy? How you wanted to run towards the middle of that race and towards the end?
Usually, I just like to try to lift and coast into a lot of corners just to leave my options open. So fuel didn't play a huge factor here. There was quite a bit of fuel after, but I did take enough fuel that I could change my tires. So that I feel like that helped changing them for the whole second stint.
Fantastic. Well, Finn, you got anything for him?
I think you covered a lot of the big stuff. Looking forward to the championship. Are you looking forward to the next few weeks of racing? I know we get to some pretty fun tracks coming up. Any that stand out to you?
Yeah, no, this was actually one of my better tracks to be on. So I'm glad I was able to get the win on it. Last season, I ran this one, but I got caught up in traffic and got crashed out. So it was nice to be able to get a victory here on this one.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Richard. We are going to go ahead and send you off to enjoy your victory. Before you go, anything that you want to shout out really quick, get a chance to maybe get the team some love, maybe the sponsors. What's on your mind here?
Yeah, just want to say thanks to the league again. Thanks to you guys for putting together a broadcast. Looking forward to watching it back after this. So, thanks everybody.
Of course, man. All right, well, you go get yourself some cold milk. Enjoy that nice fat W for the first race of the season. You treat every win as if it's your last because you never know when it will be your last. So thank you so much for joining us here, Richard Danielewski, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, now coming up next, I believe we do have Christopher Kohler, the winner of the GTP race. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your winner. It was a fantastic move right there on the final lap in the final corner, every racer's dream, and I bet you are feeling absolutely wonderful right now.
Yeah, it was a good start to the season.
No, for sure. Definitely a really great way to start it. That's, in fact, the best way that it could have started, all things considered. Max points for you here tonight. We were kind of watching qualifying, and we kind of said that Lalonde looked kind of lights out all night long. What was kind of happening there towards the end of that race that lets you get into position to maybe take that lead away?
Alex is lights out every night, but so is a bunch of other guys in the field. I'm not sure what happened to them if they got caught up in traffic, but I have no doubt that it'll be a battle, for the whole season. But I think tonight, I think he got lulled a little bit. I was actually in the voice chat with him the entire race, and I think he just got comfortable and wasn't expecting it. He did see it like last minute, or he was thinking about it, should have covered it off, didn't, and it was a nice race, nice finish.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We were talking about it before the race, right? So 82% fuel is what you can get. Where did you take your pit stop and why?
I took it a lap after him. I did GTP for a couple seasons, went down to LMP2, and now I'm back up. And it seems like the overcut in the GTP is just incredibly strong. And the other classes, it seemed like you could overcut, undercut, just see what happens. But seems to be the overcut's the way the whole time. I actually sputtered down the pit road this race because I made the call way too late to try to fuel save, but it worked.
I mean, hey, you had just enough to get across the line first. Everything else after that is just kind of a bonus. So, yeah. Finn, you got anything?
I was going to say, the one big question on my mind was, what is it like, you spent the season down in LMP2, back in the GTPs. Do you prefer the LMP2s or the GTPs now that you've got a chance to be back in both pretty, one after the other? Or are you excited to be, are you looking forward to more seasons with the GTP than you are with the LMP2?
Yeah, they're both a blast. They're, LMP is good at some things. You can toss it in there and enjoy it. GTP is a lot more finicky. It's a lot more tire wear management. They're both fun, but I am happy to be back in GTP. That's where I've had most of my success in the past. And Alex Lalonde, of course, he's trying to win the league in all 3 classes, and so that's why I came back up here with him to try to stop him. That was the only reason why.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was trying to remember if
That's fair.
we had that conversation last season about it. Looking forward to the rest of the season as well as the tracks coming up. Any like standout ones?
They're all good. North America is always a blast. You guys will see TK, Casey Catola, and my car were both repping the sticker because we lost a bet. If you look at our nose of our cars next week, you'll get a laugh out of it. But yeah, great schedule. North America, can't go wrong.
Fantastic stuff. That's all I got.
Fair enough. Well, with that being said, Christopher, you got anybody that you want to shout out, get the team some love, get the sponsor some love, maybe the guy that made the setup? How are we feeling here tonight?
Yeah, Sheboygan Flyers, of course. MCR, the whole league, man. It's the best group of guys you could ever ask for. If anyone out there is thinking about joining one, this one I cannot recommend enough. Everybody wants to get faster. Everybody wants to help one another. It's just a great league. And then who made my setup? Just some guy, Alexander Spetz. I don't know. Some guy, probably not like 11K or anything, but yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Christopher. It was an absolute blast to watch you out there on the track tonight, and you go celebrate that win because we got a long season ahead of us, and nobody knows what the future holds. So hang in there and enjoy the win here tonight.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, and as we get that one over with, looks like we're going to have, I believe, Ty. Oh my gosh, I forgot the last name. Ty's going to be coming in. Yeah, Ty Dunnett. He is going to be coming in, the winner of the GT Pro series. And by a comfortable margin, sheer unadulterated dominance, whereas the GTPs had a lightning fast and electric finish. Ty Dunnett just kind of beat the hell out of everyone else. Ty, how you feeling about it?
It was pretty good. You know, I had a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite tracks, so I just love turning laps here. So it was good fun for me. It was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, man. That is really, really great to hear. Obviously, you know, enjoying the win and by a pretty comfortable margin. A lot of chaos on track, a lot of multi-class traffic on both ends. What was your experience with that going through the race here tonight? Because from up here, man, it looked like absolute chaos down there. Were you feeling it as much out front by that much?
Oh yeah, you always feel it. I mean, that's the beauty of multi-class racing, right? You just no matter where you are on the track, there's always someone behind you or in front of you or at worst beside you going through corners. So, you know, it's always pretty entertaining from my point of view. And I just love it for the spectators' point of view too, which is always something exciting, you know, never a dull moment.
No, for sure. Multi-class racing is absolutely gonna be like that. I mean, obviously with a lot of chaos on track, it's just up to you guys to really kind of just navigate through it. But with that being said, I think Fenn's got some questions for you.
Just a couple. Always my favorite question to ask the GT3 drivers: why the Mustang?
It's just when I first got into the GT3s, it's when the Mustang first came out, and I drove the hell out of it. Kind of, you know, when it first came out, I used to be a GTP driver, believe it or not, and I've since cleaned my sins. But I love the feeling of the Mustang. I love kind of the whippiness of it, and it's pretty pointy, I guess, for a GT3 car. My heart is with the Corvette, but it's a little sketchy, especially with some of these tracks that are coming up. So I picked my one trusty steed, took her in a battle.
Very fair, very fair. Speaking of the season coming up, any standout tracks that you're really looking forward to adding to your catalog of wins for the season?
Yeah, well, hopefully it'll be more wins. But I'm a sucker for chaos. So like Belle Isle, I'm really looking forward to it. I know Long Beach is tippity top my favorite track and combo to race with IMSA. So I just can't wait for some chaos at Detroit. I think it's gonna be fun to watch too.
I think it'll make for some good, exciting racing. That's all I have for this week. Hopefully, I'll see you back soon.
Sounds good. You'll see me next week.
Eric, anybody you want to shout out before we get you out of here?
Just, you know, all the guys, like I got teammates in the GTP, I got and the LMP2, and saw them on the track a couple times, and we did a little teammate love. But just all the guys at paddock.gg, you know, just for all the support. And if you need any questions or set up questions, anything like that, they're more than willing to lend a hand, hop in Discord, you know, just a all well-rounded team. So I think feel pretty at home there.
Hell yeah. Well, you go enjoy that win of yours. We got a great season coming up, and this is a great way for you to start it. So take full advantage. Buy yourself some popcorn, get yourself some cold milk. It is going to be a good night. Thank you so much, Ty Dunnett.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, and now that is out of the way, we've got one man left. The 22 car, Drew Leonard, will be coming in the winner for our GT3 series. Drew, that was a crazy race. What in the world was going on that track?
If I don't even know how to explain it, it felt insane. Like, it was the last few laps, I was like kind of taking a step back. I'm like, I got LMPs on my left, GTPs on my right, and I'm just in for the ride.
I mean, that's kind of just it's like we were talking about earlier with Ty Dunnett, man. That multi-class traffic, it can be absolutely rough. Obviously, being in the AMs, you guys are going to feel it the worst. Lots of battles get interrupted by those faster cars, and it can be difficult to navigate around them. But with that being said, the multi-class traffic, I mean, I know you guys were feeling it out there. What was the vibes like between you guys and the other cars? How are things going?
Between multi-class or between GTDs?
Either or, doesn't matter.
GTDs, I felt it was great. Multi-class, the hypercars were definitely quick. Some questionable moves, but gotta go. I don't know. Everything felt pretty clean, in my opinion. The start with us literally felt like a bunch of chickens with their head cut off. I could not see a thing.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of chaos right there at the start with that incident in the GTP field, and it just kind of spilled out over into everybody else as they just tried to get past it. So with that being said, right, a lot of incidents on the track today, and a majority of them were caused by like those multi-class traffic issues like we said, right? As a result, conserving equipment becomes a much bigger question, right? As guys get damaged and they get their cars refueled back up, right? The pit strategy definitely changes, right? What was you guys' strategy going in, and how did you adjust halfway through?
My strategy is usually based on damage, obviously, like you said. I didn't have anything at all, so I was solely based on fuel consumption. Tires felt great for the most part. It comes down to fuel.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think Fenn's got some questions for you before we get out of here.
Let's hear it.
Not too many. When the fun part of that race, I think for you, I wouldn't say it's actually that fun. Managing kind of the couple of, I think, moments that you were kind of wrapped up in. What was the mindset getting you back into it that kept you in for the win towards the end there?
Just focus on relatives and just one car at a time. Don't look at how many cars ahead, the 5 cars ahead, the 5 cars behind, and nitpicking their relative, and just focus on the one car ahead and kind of stay locked in and follow my apexes. Don't jump the gun on anything and just stay calm.
Heck yeah. And looking forward to the rest of the season. Is there any other tracks that you're looking for and to try to add to the tracks you will have either wins on or things you're just looking forward to be excited about in general?
Yeah, my home track, Belle Isle.
Oh, wonderful. Detroit Belle Isle is going to be a very, very fun one, I think.
Very
looking forward to see. Good. Well, until we get to that point, hopefully we see you sooner than that. That is all I have for you this week.
Awesome.
Heck yeah. Well, Drew, last but not least, you got anybody you want to give a quick shout out to, give the team some love, the league, the sponsors, setup guy? What are we feeling?
We'd like to give just one shout out to one special person, the traffic cone that is watching tonight, didn't race, but Michael Irisy.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Drew Leonard. It was a blast being able to hang out with you for a few minutes. You go enjoy your win. Big season ahead of us. It's season 7 of the Motor City Racing League, and you go enjoy that first win of the year. Hopefully one of many more.
Thank you, guys.
All right. And Fan, I believe that just about finishes us out. I mean, there's not really a whole lot else to go over. Some absolutely incredible action here at Sebring. And I think it just kind of sets the tone for the whole season.
It does. It's always, we talked about it last season. We'll talk about it, I think, towards the end of this season as well. Fantastic racing throughout an IMSA split, and always such fun driving, both for GTPs, LMP2s, both the GT3 Pros and AMs. We're going out there in just a week's time, but Detroit Belle Isle is going to be, I think, a fantastic place to take these drivers to next as we continue our tour of North America in just 7 days' time.
Oh, yes, the Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle on Monday, August 24th, 8:20 p.m. It is going to be a good one. Be there or be square, and you don't want to know what happens when you're square. So mark your calendars. Go ahead and make sure that you're here for the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been all for us at Green Flag TV. Thank you once again to the sponsors that make this all possible. Thank you, Finn, for being a great co-host, and thank you, Howie, down on the desk for making all of this possible. But most importantly, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, so very much for watching. Without you, this is not fun, nor can it happen. So, without further ado, that is a goodbye from us. Till next week.